It is now a little bit past 7 p.m. in the evening. Welcome to one of the 10 best cities in the United States of America for 2010. It's a pleasure to see so many young people here. I mean, this is nice. You know, give yourself a round of applause for engaging in your community, for being involved with what's happening in your community. And I think, you know, this is one of the better things that I think the city needs to do, is to get people like you, get the young folks involved with what's happening in the city of North Miami. So to start the meeting this evening, we're going to call on the Office of the Month, which is Officer Stephen Roster for the, there you go, for the Pledge of Allegiance. Yeah.
Everybody stand up. All please stand. Raise your right hand. Or place your hand on your chest. I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. For the invocation this evening, we're going to call on Chief Mark Elias.
Thank you, Mayor. Can everybody bow their head, please? Blessed are you, my God, King of the universe, who has given us this day to worship and to love you. Lord, my God, we're faced every day with trials and tribulation, but in you we will find peace. Psalm 23 says, "The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside still waters. He restores my soul. He leadeth me in the path of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of shadow of death, I feel no evil, for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of my enemies. Thou anointest my head with oil, my cup will overflow. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of my Lord, my God, my Savior. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Chief. Man, that is Psalm 23rd. I mean, that's what, you know, when I was a little boy, I learned that from inside out. But my favorite, verse on Psalm 23rd is verse 4 and 5. He said, although I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for your rod are with me, and your staff that comfort me. You prepare a table before me in the presence of my enemies, and you anoint my head with oil. My cup runs over. I mean, that's a powerful psalm. And some of your young folks around town, you know, whenever you feel like the devil is coming close to you, just read that psalm, and I guarantee you would feel better, and that the God would take care of your problem. So thank you so much, Chief, for your invocation this evening. We're going to call on Mr. City Clerk to do roll call.
Vice Mayor Steril.
Here.
Councilman Galvin.
Here.
Mayor Pierre.
Here.
Councilman Marcellus.
Here.
Councilman Glenn.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
Thank you. Let the record reflect that we do have a quorum to conduct the business of the people this evening. Mr. City Manager, any amendments, deletions, any changes to our city agenda?
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Yes, there is. I would like to move
Just 1 second. Do we have a city attorney in today? If not, can we get Marlon Hill to act as the city attorney for us while we're waiting to get a city attorney?
Are we going to pay him or pro bono?
Well, he worked pro bono. Go ahead, Mr. Manager.
Yeah, Mayor and Council. I respectfully request to move tab R, proposal to give $1 million to PAL Fund. If we can move that up. after the presentation, or where you feel that it needs to be done due to the fact that
Let's
we
put it
have-
right after the consent agenda because I think all the kids are here, so
Yes.
we could get that out the way quickly so they could get back home and get to school in the morning.
And
Okay.
tab, yes, and tab V, we also, which is the Biscayne Landing update,
Uh-huh.
we can move it up where city projects is, so it will coexist with that
That's
for about a 3 to 5 minute update.
okay, no problem. So then the agenda is currently set.
Mr.
We
Mayor?
have, yes, sir.
If I have items I'd like to move off of the consent agenda and onto the regular agenda.
As soon as we get to that portion of it, we'll address that issue. And as long as you have 3 votes to do so, then that would happen. If not, you have to discuss it. Then from there, move back to the consent agenda. We have 4 special presentations. The first one, I think we're going to move on to the Sickle Cell Foundation donation presentation. Mr. City Manager, who is going to do that presentation?
We're going to ask our purchasing director, Ms. Ruby Crenshaw Johnson, to come forth with that presentation.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Ruby Johnson, the purchasing director here for the city of North Miami. During the month of February, Black History Month, the city had a number of events where we celebrated all the special events and contributions of Black Americans to this to the country. And during that whole process, we did a fundraiser, and this year we selected the Sickle Cell Disease Association of America to make a donation to. And I think we have here with us tonight Miss Marilyn Sanders. Is she here? If you can come on up. From all the donations, from all the donations that we received, and from all of the events that we had, we raised $1,700.
Wow.
And we want to present this check to you tonight for all the donations from the city of North Miami. Okay, you want to say anything?
Can we have the city council, including the city clerk, to come down and take a picture with the Sickle Cell Foundation?
Let me.
Thank you. Thank you. Oh, of course. Can you give us?
Hello, how's everybody doing? I am the vice president of Sickle Cell. The president was out of town, she could not come, and this is Dana. She is the secretary of the Sickle Cell Foundation. I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you. We are constantly trying to educate our clients as well as our community. We are this month we'll be doing a juicing class to educate them as well. And we have so many things that we are doing, and we really truly appreciate this today. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Thank you. As all of you know, that the month of March is Women History Month, and the city of North Miami will present a proclamation to the vice mayor for the city of North Miami. Let's give her a round of applause for taking the leadership to celebrate Women History Month in the city of North Miami. President Obama just released last week the report on women in America, and just a little bit of what he said. I just want to share that with you. in this forum. Some of you may already got the data, but if you do, you're going to hear it for a second time. He said that women has come a long way in some areas, and in some other areas we still, behind. In 1979, women earned 62 cents on every dollar earned by male. Today, women earn 75 cents to every dollar earned by male. So women are getting paid 25% less than men. Why is that? Well, President Obama did not address that issue. He just pointed out the problem, but he did not ask for solution. And I think we all owe a duty to find a solution to that problem. Progress has been made, but not much progress has been made. Today, 51% of management and professional jobs are held by women, which is nice, right? 51%, a little bit more than men. The majority of top positions are currently held by women, so we should see that is a progress, although they're not getting paid as much as men do, but at least there's a progress that they are leading most management and professional jobs in this country. There's another factor that he wants you to identify. Now more women are waiting in later years to have children compared to 20 years ago that they were having kids in the early 20s. Right now they're having kids in mid-30s. Fewer women are married today. In 1970, 73% of women were married. Well, today is only... They're getting smarter, I heard. Today it's only 60% of women that are actually married. When it comes to education, in 1970, only 11% of women were earning degrees. Today, 36% of women are earning degrees. A little bit better, but, we're still behind. 57% of undergrads and 57% of degrees awarded today are to females. By 2019, according to President Obama, that figure will go up to 69%. He mentioned that there are a lot of different statistics that are out there. He talked about the workforce, how different it is today from 20 years ago. And he asked most of the women organization to get involved with what's happening and making sure that women are in equal footing with men. So that's all I needed to share with you about Women History Month, and I would like to present this proclamation to the Vice Mayor for the City of North Miami, who is the chair for the Women History Month in the City of North Miami. So, Vice Mayor, here's your proclamation.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and I do accept this proclamation on behalf of all women in politics.
Okay. Did you come from this side? Okay. Okay. The next presentation is the Officer of the Month. Now I'm going to turn the microphone over to Chief of Police, Chief Mark Elias, for the presentation of the Officer of the Month. We do have a proclamation for that officer. He was just up here with us, so I'm going to turn it over to the Chief of Police.
Mayor, thank you, and good evening, everyone. Mayor, since this individual is assigned to patrol, I'm going to ask Assistant Chief Lenny Burgess to read his outstanding accomplishment.
Thank you, Chief. Good evening, everyone. In fact, I thank the Chief for this opportunity as well, considering this individual is the guy who works during the midnights while we're asleep, watching our streets. Also, with that being said, he's a U.S. Marine like myself and my dad. So with that being said, this illustrious individual of the North Miami Police Department, Officer of the Month, for February 2013 is Officer Stephen Royster. He's a 3-year veteran who is currently assigned to the Patrol Division on midnight shift. Sergeant Ransom Carter nominated him for the following: This incident occurred on December 24, 2012. The victim was driving towards home when she noticed a vehicle with 2 subjects was following her. In an attempt to conceal her home address from the subject, she stopped at the Eglise Evangelique Baptist Church located on 921 Northeast 131 Street. The subject stopped and approached her, produced a firearm, and demanded property from the victim. The subjects fled from the scene in a white Dodge Challenger with the victim's property, including an iPhone. Officer Royster, realizing the subject had stolen an iPhone, immediately took the initiative and logged onto iCloud to track the phone. He was able to successfully locate the suspects and provide the exact location where the vehicle was parked to the Miami Gardens Police Department. One subject was taken into custody. The other was able to be momentarily elude police. A perimeter was established. As officers prepared to search for the subject still at large, Officer Royster continued to track the suspect via the iPhone applications. Consequently, the second suspect was quickly located and taken into custody. He had the victim's property, including her iPhone. Technology, huh? Yeah. iPhone. See, even as U.S. Marine, you still know about technology. I'm really proud as a U.S. Marine. The victim's property was returned to her. The subjects were taken into custody. The stolen gun used to commit the robbery was recovered, and their vehicle was impounded in order to start the seizure process by the city of North Miami. These armed robbery subjects would more than likely have escaped had it not been for Officer Royster's quick thinking and resourcefulness. On behalf of Chief Elias and our department and command staff, we respectfully request that the great North Miami Chamber of Commerce recognize Officer Stephen Royster as Officer of the Month, and here the council and the mayor appreciate it as well. Job well done.
Officer, thank you so much for all the work that you have done in the city of North Miami, and we are proclaiming February 2013 to be Officer Stephen Royster Month in the city of North Miami, and urge all residents to recognize and celebrate your contribution to the North Miami community. Thank you so much, sir. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, Chief. It's too many times that, violent offenders, they get away. On this particular night, this was a win for the good guys. I'm just appreciative that, I'm able to make a change and provide a safe neighborhood for the citizens of North Miami. Thank you.
Now, I think one of the moments that we have waiting for, when I read about that story, in fact, that night, my wife and I, we coming from a function downtown, as we were coming from the function downtown, where did we go on Friday night? Babe, you don't remember? Okay. Well, we were coming back home, and we realized that the streets were blocked. 123 were blocked from northwest. As soon as you get off the I-95, we're probably from Northwest 4th, because we made a left turn detour from Northwest 4th all the way out to probably Northwest 5th or Northwest. From Northwest 2nd to Northwest 4th, because on Northwest 2nd, that's where we make that turn. And basically, there was, an accident in the city of North Miami. Called the city manager to find out exactly what was happening. An hour and a half later, I got a call, and basically there was a car that was driven by an older gentleman that basically it was an accident, basically that pretty much hit a pedestrian, 2 pedestrians. One is the grandfather of a 6-year-old child, and I believe there was a Good Samaritan that was on his way. I don't know if he was on his way to work, but he lived in LA Fitness. Okay, he lived in the city of North Miami. He's been a nurse for a number of years, I think, in Aventura Hospital. He's been residing in the city of North Miami since 2003. although every year that he's been here, his water bill has been, going up and up. Finally, we lowered his water bill. I think he's happy to be in the city now. He was born in Haiti in Port Salut on July 6, 1968. Graduated 78. Oh, sorry. Graduated from Barry University with a BS in nursing, and he's been working at the ICU unit at Aventura Hospital. He does have an 11-year-old son, which is closer to the age of the young man that he saved. So I'm going to ask the chief to continue and tell us more about this Good Samaritan that saved the life of a resident here in the city of North Miami. So, Chief, can you tell us some more about Franz Jean-Claude?
Thank you. Actually, Mr. Jean-Claude, can you come up and your son as well, please? And your son? Yes, definitely. Woo. NBA quality there. Yes, indeed. Thank you. On Friday, March the 8th, at about 7:10 p.m., a 6-year-old, Keenan Smith Antoine, was crossing 125th Street between Northwest 2nd and Northwest 4th Avenue with his 66-year-old grandfather, Sorel Bull. Mr. Bull did not see any vehicle driving westbound on 125th Street when he was struck. Although injured, the grandfather was able to get up off the street and to see his grandson, Keenan, unconscious and unresponsive in the roadway. Keenan had no pulse, and was not breathing. Physically hurt and distraught, Mr. Bull was helpless and did not know what to do. Franz Jean-Claude, individual to my left. Thank you. A registered ICU nurse at Aventura Hospital was driving eastbound he was going to work out at LA Fitness when he observed Mr. Bull kneeling over a lifeless Keenan in the middle of Northwest 125th Street. Franz Jean-Claude saw that someone needed help, and he stopped his vehicle, blocking approaching traffic from hitting the grandfather and the grandson. And he began to help. He quickly determined that Keenan was not breathing and had no pulse. Knowing time was of the essence, because we know within 2 to 3 minutes a child can actually go brain dead. He quickly constructed himself a CPR breath mask out of a piece of paper. That is outstanding. With the hole properly put in the paper, he placed this over Keenan's mouth and began to do chest compression, coupled with blowing life-saving air. As we know, with CPR, it's 30 compression to 2 breath. Didn't worry about anything else but saving the life of this child. This continued for 5 to 7 minutes. Just picture this. You doing 30 compression to 2 breath on a child injured, not breathing. An innocent child, 6-year-old. Unselfishly, this man did CPR. Suddenly, Keenan began to breathe and also started to have a strong pulse. Fire rescue then arrived and responded and took over as far as stabilizing Keenan. They were both transported, and now they're doing much better at the hospital. Let me say this. When you look, when you see a selfish act like this, because people can say, what about if this child had HIV, this or this or this or that? But selfishly, they didn't even care about that. He made sure that he did the proper thing. I called him, while he was working, and I said, man, you're a hero. And he said, no, I was just doing my job. But you know something? This is what we call having ownership within the community where we live. we take care of each other. Just like the kids that are here today. Learn from this valiant act. Learn what it is to help another person as he did. I am proud, very proud of what you have done to save one of the kids in this community. My friend from the police department, you're a hero. Thank you. I am proud today to present, this is the highest award the police department has ever presented to a civilian. It's the Distinguished Service Award, and it's presented to Franz Jean-Claude, BSN, in grateful appreciation for your heroic efforts as you saved the life of a critically injured young child. Your quick thinking and ability to act under stressful circumstances was extremely courageous. And we thank you from the bottom of our heart. The whole city thanks you. Thank you.
Now, let me tell you a couple of things that you may not know. Several times that the mother of that child sat right back there at council meeting. Several times that she showed up here with her son, that 6-year-old, sitting right back there at this council meeting. She was unable to be here this evening with us, but I'm going to ask her cousin to come forward, basically to say a couple of things on behalf of the family. Fritz, come forward, okay?
Good evening. My name is Fritzine Jarabath. I'm here on behalf of the family. The mom, as you should be aware, is still in the hospital. Keenan is still in ICU. He still has quite a recovery to make, but like my cousin has said, she would not be here. She wouldn't be able to be by her son's side if it hadn't been for Franz's action. And I believe there was another woman there, Lisette, that also helped you as well. If she could leave her son's side, she'd be here. But she sent me on behalf of that to say that she appreciates everything that you've done. She appreciates all of your hard work. She appreciates, without your quick thinking, your ingenuity, and your willingness to actually stop what you were doing to take care of the life of someone that you don't even know, that you had no responsibility for. If you didn't take the steps necessary to save his life within 2 to 3 minutes, he wouldn't have been here. He's here. He has a long road and long recovery ahead of him, but at least he's still here. He still has a fighting chance, and it wouldn't be the same if it wasn't without you.
Thank you, Fritz. I mean, it's just sad that a lot of you here didn't get a chance to meet Peggy that, you know, attended several council meetings, right, Fritz? She sat back here. She's a teacher here. A couple of times she showed up here with her son, sitting back here with her son. I mean, she usually sit on our left side. She attended several events here in the city of North Miami. So if you go through your picture file, you'll see that Peggy Boulay was here with her son several times. So, well, the city would like to present this proclamation to Mr. Franz Jean-Claude. And Mr. Jean-Claude, we are proclaiming today, March 12, 2013, to be your day in the city of North Miami, and urge all residents to recognize your good Samaritan contributions to our community. Thank you for saving the life of one of our citizens. We truly appreciate that, Mr. Jean-Claude. Thank you. Okay, sure.
I feel humble and so grateful to receive this honor from City of North Miami and the North Miami Police Department. And I also thank the Lord for using me as His tools to be at that place at the right moment to save the child's life. Thank you.
Okay. I'm gonna. Yeah, I mean, it looks like it's 7:30, and the children are still here. So I'm gonna take tab R out of order before we move on to the next item on the agenda. So, Mr. Sicklet, tab R. Mr. Thank you, sir. You had it. Oh.
Tab R.
Yes.
Proposal to give $1 million to Police Athletic League PAL Fund.
Okay. Mr. City Manager.
Yes, Mayor, I just want to just inform Mayor and Council, just in case that you're not aware, some people think PAL it's a separate entity as a 501c3. It is a 501c3, but it's very much a part, an extension of our North Miami Police Department. So I just wanted, prior to the presentation, to let that record be known.
Just like MOCA.
Yes.
Yeah, just like MOCA, which is a 501c3 not-for-profit organization that we fund, but it's run by a board. So I guess that's the same kind of agency that we have going on here. So we're going to move on with the presentation. Then from there, this council would make the decision that they think is best for the community. Go ahead.
Thank you. I'd like to ask Assistant Chief Burgess, along with Major Bria Burden, Stewart and Chair to come up, please. And one of the reasons that I've asked them up, and let me say this, I had several conversations with Officer Stewart, and he's going to share with you the history of PAL, okay, how PAL got started, and the work that it's doing for the kids, and we'll continue with the presentation after.
Mayor, Pierre, and Council, I want to thank you for having us here today. To give you a brief synopsis of the North Miami Police Athletic League. In 1994, that's when I started this police department. I was working on a road for just 2 months, and I looked up across Cagney Park and actually saw the problem that was occurring. We had young ladies that was fighting in the park during that period of time. I went to Chief East at that period of time. It was 2 months into my job, and I basically told him, look, there needs to be something that we need to do inside this community in order to affect these kids. It was something that they needed. They needed that personal attention. At that period of time, I said, why don't we start a police athletic league? He then said, well, if anybody's going to start that police athletic league, it's going to be you. So he assigned me to Parks to start that program. During that period of time, you know, we started our first PAL board. And on that first PAL board, I said we needed a first PAL board because I didn't know anything about that. So I brought a couple of officers on, which was Officer Belcher at that period of time, and during that period of time was Officer Cruz to assist in the process. And if you can remember, Councilman Galvin, you was on that first board. We started our program with a girls basketball program. And on that during that period of time, that program grew so much that within 1 year, we had the #1 girls basketball program in the state. We said, let's take that program, we can make it grow. So we went to the middle school, and we said, look, we're going to start an intramural program at Cagney Park. And they used to have numbers inside the park. And we said, you guys, when you come out to this park, you have to come out, and you have to be sitting on the numbers. We didn't realize what we were doing at that period of time. But when we walked out, there had to be 150 kids sitting on numbers in Cagney Park. So what I'm basically saying is that, and for years, I worked out of my car. I worked out the back of my car. And I believe it was in 1996, we say, okay, we're going to start a track program, and we're going to deal with these boys basketball program. And if you remember, there was this young man, and we used to call him Ducky. And we used to call him Ducky because he used to duck in and out of trouble. And right now, Ducky is sitting before you right now, Mr. Michael Etienne.
Wow.
So
now he got his real name.
And Ducky know what I'm talking about. 'Cause, you know, even when he came home from college, I said, when he told me he was at Florida State, I said, stop lying. Because I couldn't believe, I was so proud when I saw him. And we got so many proud stories around the country. I was just talking to Wendy Neptune, who's working for the government in Hawaii. They're paying for everything. What you got to understand, I worked on and when we finally got this home, the temporary home, because it was a prototype for what we should be doing inside the city. But it should be centrally located. It should be centrally located so we can affect the community. You know, when we got this home over on 13th Avenue, 13th Court, we didn't realize what we were doing. Because we started that program because we wanted to, we saw, okay, let's start this boxing program. We used to outsource, go to another gym. And we said, we need to bring this to North Miami. And guess what we got out of that program? We got champions. We got sitting right here, the number 6 in the nation, not the state, the nation, sitting right before you. Not only we got that, he's not here with us today. We got Dominique Francis, who's ranked number 2 in the nation. He just went to. So what I'm basically saying is that we're growing. We need to be an influencer. We need to be centrally located. We don't need a home that was supposed to be a prototype of what we should be doing. We need to be a permanent fixture because with North Miami Pal, our explorers are called upon all the time. All the time throughout this city. It's time for us to be a fixture in the center of town where we could be seen, where we could be an effective inside the center of town. It's time for us to have our permanent home. I'm not working in the car no more. I'm not pulling balls out of my car, Michael Etienne. I ain't giving you the ball out of the car saying go play no more. We don't want to be attached building to the auto store where our parents got to park somewhere everywhere no more. We want to be right here at Cagney Park in the center of town.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I'm Major Francia Bray Burden, and I oversee the community service section, and pretty much the PAL, the Police Athletic League. And just to piggyback on what Officer Stewart says, this has been a passion for us. What we do, we have all of our kids here that are involved in all of our programs, the majority of our programs. We have basketball, track and field that we partner with Parks and Rec. We have our peer tutoring that I have Miss Little Vanessa here, and that comes to our peer tutoring at our facility. We have our explorers that are here. I have Ryan, and Ryan's mom is here, who Ryan is, you know, come up, Ryan's mom, please. And how we have impact Ryan's mom. Ryan, go ahead over there. How we have impact Ryan's life being autistic. And she would just like to say something, how every day Ryan, every Tuesday and Thursday that Ryan comes to our program. Just a little bit. Just introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Rachel, and as a parent, I can tell you that this is an extraordinary program. The youth is being served by them. Officer Stewart and Officer Sherry, they made Officer of the Month because of their extraordinary help for our children. And our teenagers are at the most vulnerable time in their period where we need outfits like this to help them, keep them safe, and in the return, they do more for the community. They do so much for the community through PAL.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
What I really like about this program is they teach you how to save lives. Like Ricardo and Jemima always saying, study your codes. It's going to help you save lives. Actually, last week, I think about Friday, I actually learned how to do CPR. Like Chief was saying about the story of the CPR and the guy. I really like this program. We would like to join because it teaches you how to save lives. And actually, I will be a cop when I grow up and go to SWAT team.
Wow.
Thank you, Ryan. Thank you, Ryan. Thank you. And pretty much, we just had, and pretty much it's an overview of what the Police Athletic League is all about, is developing productive, active leaders. Every day that's our mission, to provide that to these kids. We provide, you know, it curtails our crime. We're taking them off the street, and this is going to take us into the future. Take us to the next level. They've asked us, well, why? Why do we? Well, we pay lease. We pay lease at least $62,000 hard cost. We're not looking for the city to be a burden. We hope to be a self-sustaining nonprofit in the future. We hope that this facility will give us the pathway. When they see that the city of North Miami has backed us up as our own home, state, local, the local, state, and federal will also be able to give us funding so we can take it and, you know, our technology to the next level where we will, you know, be qualified for some of those grants. This will allow us a foot in the door. This first $1 million will allow us the first phase. It will take us into a new home, and we will be fully functional. We have our architect, we have Mr. Zamar here. We have everything prepared to sell this. It's just not coming here before the council, before the mayor, and the chief to just say we need $1 million. We want to partner and grow with Parks and Rec, the library, and all the community residents to benefit centrally here. That's what we want. And the mayor, the city manager, the council, you are our vehicle. You are our opportunity. We will be the only Miami-Dade County facility that has a boxing ring. The next one is Homestead, and then the next one is in Davie in Broward County. So it's just not going to be another building. We will provide something different. We will be able to piggyback off what the library is giving and give more technology and impact more kids. We're just, all of our nonprofits, all of us have to bridge together. This will give us an opportunity to bridge together and impact these children's lives. And it's everybody. It's very diverse. It's everybody that will benefit from what you decide this evening. We have Zamar. Chief? Okay. Thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Before I turn it over to Zamar, let me say this, and you know what Stewart mentioning, you know, about the city clerk. I tell my office every day it's about ownership in this community. Ownership, meaning that even though some of them may not live here, they spend 10 to 12 hours. It's ownership. You look at what a resident of the city did in saving a child's life. That's ownership. All we're asking, because us here that are executive staff and command level, we spend time with these kids. Some of them call Stewart, Cherry, 1 o'clock in the morning. They're there for them. They don't tell me, hey, chief, this is a call out. You got to pay me 3 hours overtime. It's ownership. Ownership is caring from the heart. And all we're asking is give them a place they can call home. Is that so hard to ask? That's all they want. Major Burden said it. The boxing program. Look at the boxers that are here. All the competition they've won. For us to be the only PAL gym with a boxing program, all the way from Homestead. I mean, the last time we had a boxing tournament, people came all the way from what? Deerfield Beach? Mm-hmm. Okay? We just had our track meet. 750 kids participated in this meet. And this is in partnership with Parks and Recreation. This is what PAL is all about. At the end of the day, as a police officer, my fulfillment is helping another child. Not putting somebody in jail, helping another child. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Bailey. I am one of the elite boxers at North Miami PAL. Since joining the PAL last year, I made a name for myself inside the ring. Under North Miami PAL, I am ranked 6th in the nation, and I accomplished a lot inside and outside of boxing. Thanks to Officer James Stewart, Michelle Cherry, and my trainer Ian Ford, I became a better person. They taught me many things to build my character. Without North Miami Powell, all of the kids in this area would be lost and may get themselves into trouble. I believe North Miami Powell deserves a new building because of the lives they saved, and a new building would give more kids the opportunity that was given to me. Thank you.
We have Hollywood Powell, one of the best Powell in the country.
25 years with
I
Hollywood
love
Pal.
your place.
Well, thank you very much, but I'm here today for the North Miami Pal, okay? And that's what I'm going to support. I'm going to help as much as I can, any way I can. We have a little car dealership around the corner there that'll also be behind it, and I'm really looking forward to I think Officer Stewart, if he hasn't sold you guys by now, I don't know what else he needed. He would have sold 5 Lexuses by now. So, I think we got the word across, so it's just an honor for me to come up here to be representing the North Miami Pal, and I believe the future of these kids is in your hands right now, so you got a decision to make.
Thank you, Tony.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Tony he runs the PAL program in Hollywood, and he's also the general manager for the Lexus dealership that is right down the street, which is the largest Lexus dealership in North America. And those of you that are looking for cars, see Tony to get you a new Lexus.
Wow, Mr. Mayor, how much you got, babe?
Yes, sir.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. My name is Officer Art Martineau. I'm the Executive Director of the Miami Beach Police Athletic League, and it's privilege and definitely an honor to be here. I've got to work hand in hand with the Major, Cherry, and Stewart. I've been running PAL on Miami Beach for going on 3 years, and I've leaned on Stewart a lot for his leadership and being in this. And I'm gonna tell you, we started our boxing program about 3 months ago, and we had the honor to go and spar and see our kids fellowship with your kids, and just beautiful experience. Instead of kids from Miami Beach coming to fight kids in North Miami, they're getting it in the ring, they're shaking hands, and they're giving a hug after the fight. Our motto in PAL is filling playgrounds, not prisons, and that's what it's about. My background, I worked in the prison system, and I've been in law enforcement for over 20 years. I've seen all sides of it. The chief said it over and over, ownership. I've been a community relations officer for the beach before I went to PAL, and that's all it's about, getting everybody to buy into it. And for what I see, your residents have already bought into that. You got heroes. You got heroes, and you got the future right there. It's only fitting to give them a home. Thank you.
Okay.
Hi, how are you?
Hello.
My name is Dove Konitz. I sit on the board for PAL with Art, past vice president. I work very closely with Sergeant Rosen, assistant chief, the majors as well. Been to a lot of events, and just wanted to be here to support everybody.
Thank you. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Mary Esther Irvin. I'm a proud member of PAL on board. I don't see any other board member, but we all unified. We really want to see you allow PAL to have this building. What is more interesting to me, I love the athletic thing, but the part that is more interesting to me is the tutoring component. That not only are they fed athletically, but intellectually, educationally, they're also fed. So that's very encouraging for me, and I appreciate that as a parent myself. So I pray and pray and ask that you do support this. Thank you, Council.
Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. My name is Katya St. Fleur. You guys know me. I work with Senator Oscar Brainen, but tonight I'm in the capacity of a community member. I do a lot of work with PAL. I do a lot of work with Officer Stewart and Major Burden now. Sorry, that's how long I've been knowing her. I think that they do need a home. I would much prefer to see this $1 million go towards building a facility as opposed to locking kids up, finding something for them to do after school. We need something for these kids to do. It's imperative that we invest in our community, and I hope that you guys put this $1 million where it deserves.
Okay.
Mayor Pierre, good evening. Council, I'm Darrell Branson. I'm a proud assistant principal at North Miami Senior High School.
Go Pioneers!
Go Pioneers, that's right. And there's some other high schools in this city as well, but we leave them a name for now. What you see is a snapshot of what this program can become. As the speaker before me spoke on the educational aspect, the peer tutoring. We don't have the facility at North Miami Senior High School because we have the largest adult ed population probably in the county. Then the Powell building, with the size that it is, the kids need a place that they can go and we can have adequate space, adequate tutors, because kids for some reason have a way of talking to kids. So our peer tutors are doing a very good job of working with the students at North Miami Senior High School, but when we placed that building on 135th Street, we are able to service not only the high schools, but the middle school as well as the elementary school. The schools in North Miami, if you look at the FCAT grades, they're getting better each and every year. When I came to North Miami Senior High School, we were an F school. And as you can see, we're building. We went from the F to the D, from the D to the C, and now this year we're going to go even higher. So we know that when you grant this wish of the Powell Board, that all of the schools within that neighborhood are going to benefit from it. So we ask that you would really, really search your hearts. These kids deserve it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is he a benefit of Powell as well? No? Is he? Is he?
Good evening,
I'm
Mayor
talking
and
about
Council.
Mayor of
Mike is
Citizen.
It's working? All right. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Good evening. Tonight, I rise in support of Powell. And more than ever, Mr. Mayor, I want to applaud you for your effort, and member of the council for supporting this initiative. I remember when I served as mayor of this great city, the organization was in full force, but we didn't have the resources and the drive that this mayor and this council and this administration have in support of this great organization. My firm, the Joe Celestine Civil Engineer and General Builder, together with the architectural firm here, we are in support of Powell, and we propose to build the building at cost. I have been talking to a number of other engineers and contractors and engineering firms that are ready to do it at cost.
What does that cost mean?
Material plus overhead, no profit. There will be a schedule of values. We will, whatever money you have, it will be to purchase the materials, plus the overhead, meaning that you pay for the insurance and the manpower for the workers, and then we will not charge you the 20 or 30% overhead, meaning you will only pay for the cost of the material. My firm and a number of other firms have already made a commitment to support and help at no charge. We understand that money is an issue. We are donating probably in the range of $250,000 to $500,000 worth of profit in this project. We're willing to. So I hope and urge the whole council, there's no better way to expend some of those, the funds that you have in the Michigan lending, to put it behind the future, which is our children here that are here today. And I applaud the police department, I applaud the chief and those who are working with this great organization. I personally and my firm stand ready to help and make the dream a reality. And I thank you for your time.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Well, my name is Vanessa Frederick. I'm 14 years old, and I am an 8th grade student of John F. Kennedy Middle School. For one, the Powell Building for me has given me the strength and the support that I need so I can grow up to be someone as strong and as great as everyone here. Well, for one, the Powell Building, it gives us a safe haven for everyone to come, all students and all children, to come and enjoy themselves, to get what they need to get done. From the PAL tutoring that gives us the help that we need with our homework assignments and everything that we need with our subjects. And our boxing program, our exercising programs, our fitness camps, everything that helps us students and help us children to not only process the things that we need to be done in our daily lives, such as exercising, homework, and things that us students that need to be doing, but not only that, it's just to have fun. Thank you.
You're honest.
And before you start, JP, she's been on the bike ride, the Getting Gear community bike ride that we have every single month. And usually she's leading the pack, you know, getting on that bike, and she's doing that 10 miles bike ride with us. And thank you so much, you know, to seeing you again this evening. You're gonna be a fine, you know, young lady when you grow up. Go ahead, JP.
Good evening, everyone. For those who don't know me, I'm known as JP throughout the city. On behalf of PAL, I would like to say that I've been a part of this program for the past 7 years. And Officer Stewart can tell you I have changed tremendously from the time that I joined from when I was 15 years old. Last year, I went through the police academy, and thanks to PAL, I basically went through the whole police academy for free.
Wow.
All of PAL's leaders and advisors, they all promote education to the fullest, and for them, failing has never been an option, ever. All right. Right now, like Officer Stewart said, in our temporary location, we're in the temporary location. I believe that if we go to a permanent home in the center of town, we can all reach to more youth, more kids throughout the whole city of North Miami. In turn of that, multiplying the amount of leaders that PAL produces year-round. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, JP. And JP, you didn't talk about your sister, who's a custom officer, custom agent, who also work out at the PAL building in North Miami. So, for some of you who may not know.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Luis Gutierrez. I'm also one of the PAL advisors. I've been working with these kids for the past 6 years. I joined the program when I was 14. Now I'm 20. Wow. I've gone to the police academy. I have so much support from every officer in the police station, the chief, the commander, the major, everyone. When you need help, they're here for you. Officer Cherry, Officer Stewart, at whatever time you call them, they're there for you. The PAL gym has been tremendous, has been amazing. With every kid that goes in there, you see a change, right? Every kid that goes in there with fighting problems and school problems, they change. So we really need this upgrade. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Lois.
I'm sorry, I'm underdressed. I just came from school. Good evening, everybody. My name is Monica Frederick, and I have been a part of the PAL program for about 4 or 5 years now. I joined when I was very young in high school, and I started out really young. For me, the PAL program is not only just a program, it's more of a family. I started out as a police explorer, and I am now one of the acting sergeants, along with Sergeant Ricardo and Sergeant Jemima. And I do now work for the police department. I was getting there, Chief. And being a part of the PAL program and growing up with everybody and being under who I call mom and dad, Officer Cherry and Officer Stewart, I now work for the police department as the false alarm clerk in the code compliance division. So I'm just really grateful for the PAL program, and we really do need this facility to keep going and keep moving where we're trying to get at. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Frederick. And Miss Frederick, the false alarm $50 bill you sent over to me, I already sent that check to you. You got it? Okay, thank you. Okay, Mr. Zamar, I think you are the architect for this project. You may proceed.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. First of all, thank you for the opportunity to sit here and stand and present in front of you. And I'm just going to, excuse me, I'm just going to go back and give you a little bit of history. When we initially engaged the Police Athletic League in discussing what their desires were What we ended up doing was creating a laundry list of all of the items in which they wanted to go into this new facility. As we sat there, we kind of molded and we shaped it, and we started balancing the actual wants along with the actual budget numbers. We actually came together and had a meeting a little bit over a week ago. As part of that meeting, what we ended up deciding to do was, in lieu of trying to spend a lot of time doing fundraising, what we would do was just kind of take a step back, look at the design that we had initially presented, and also kind of break it up into phases, so that we can at least start at actually now, along with along as the $1 million is allocated towards this project, we can start with a phase 1, but we're designing the building so it can be phased to a second phase to be able to provide them with all of the essentials in which they would like to now and in the future. Also, as part of that design concept, we wanted to be able to create them a facility that they can move in today, but also grow with them as they continue to blossom and grow in the future. We didn't want to give them a facility that would be just basically they're moving in now, and then 2 years or 3 years later they have to move into a larger facility. So we end up going and trying to phase out that particular design. What I've done is brought today the actual board, and I believe that you all have been seeing some of the presentation boards prior to now. Am I correct?
We have the presentation here, but can you show us exactly how this facility is going to look like?
Okay. I'm going to start with the floor plan. Basically, we've designed the project to be a 2-story facility. However, currently
show it to the camera so they could see it. Yeah.
I think it's in the center.
Okay.
Thank you. So what we've designed, initially we designed the project to be a 2-story facility. In order to be able to phase it out, it will be designed as a 1-story facility that will be increased to a 2nd-story building. So in other words, when we designed the building, it would be a 2-volume space with the intention that in the future phase, it would be a 2nd floor that would be built out to be able to give them their additional space. And what you see now is that basically the major orange is the boxing ring. Towards your left would be the entrance, and then on the top would be the exercise facility and the locker rooms. We're also providing them with the meeting rooms and additional office space. So in the future, this space will convert into additional rooms and additional uses. Okay? And then the actual... The intent is that the actual design, even though that we're designing it for 1-story, again, it will be designed as a 2-story volume, so that we're trying we're trying to put our best foot forward so that you will be able to see a facility that, one, can be an icon for the city, and also have the opportunity to allow PALS to be independent and to be able to have the aesthetics to be able to attract new customers, new students, and new youth to be able to come in and be a part of that particular facility. Because at the end, we want to be able to have a facility and a PAL that is self-sustaining. And putting them in a box just won't get them to that particular location. And we want to be able to have some aesthetics to go along with it as well. One other thing is, and I can go into budget if you all have any questions or anything to that sort. You all kind of tell me what questions you all have for me.
If we have questions, we'll ask those questions. Just, you could finish with your presentation, then we're going to allow some members of the public to speak on that issue. Then we'll move forward on that. So, I mean, we have some documentation that the police department submitted to us along with PAL board. So, in terms of the design, is there any additional pictures you want to show us, or that's pretty much it? If that's it, that's no problem. We're just going to move on into some additional comments.
That's it for right now.
Okay, good. Anyone wishes to speak either for or against moving forward with progress, moving forward with the future of North Miami? Oh, go ahead.
Good evening, Joseph Faber, 2096 Alameda Drive, Keystone. I grew up and went to PAL a lot in Miami Beach. It's a fantastic institution. It's helped a lot of people. It's helped a lot of kids, and it's taught them tremendous core values: competition, leadership, self-worth. It's something that every major city needs. So as we're exploring to have one of these centers in our city, I think that it's very important that we look forward to our future and to the legacy that we leave behind for the kids. So I'm definitely in favor of this, and I think we need to make it as great as we can for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, anyone else who wishes to speak? Hearing none. We have one more. Okay.
Well, first of all, good evening, and thank you for allowing me to be up here. I'm a little bit nervous, so I'm here because I am completely for this new project. I am a citizen of North Miami, and I have been so for about 10 years. I have my sons are in the PAL program. They've been there for, I want to say, about a year. I also have students that are in the program. I work at W.J. Bryan. I'm a supplemental teacher, and I have to say that that is the highlight of our sessions, the boxing. I mean, that's how I get them to focus. That's how I get them to read. That's how I get them involved in any of the sessions that we have. I have to say, as a mother, we have currently experienced a breakdown in our family, and I have to tell you that my boys, when they come to PAL, they are. It's like their self-esteem just has risen to, like, you know, levels beyond anything that I can say. My nephew as well. My boys, my husband was incarcerated, and he's currently facing deportation. And my boys, the first thing that they asked me was, "Please, Mommy, please don't take me out of the PAL program." It's a great program, and I speak also, like I said, for the students that are in my sessions. I mean, that's all that we talk about. That's all that they want to talk about. I believe it's a great program. The brotherhood it's amazing under the guidance of Coach Ford. I mean, the brotherhood is amazing. My boys absolutely love their teammates, and they are a team. It's a brotherhood, and it's a great program. However, I know that it can be even greater if you allow for this project to go through, because it is it's a great program.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
just for the record, will you state your name and address for the record,
My
please?
name is Carmen Kendra Hernandez, and my address is 12195 Northwest 6th Avenue, 33168.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, there's no more comments. We are now going to close public hearing, and we're going to move into our council discussion. Councilman Blinn?
You all heard the phrase, it takes a village to raise a child. And this, I believe, is one of the most productive uses of the city's money I've been involved with in my 14 years here. I salute all of you PAL members for being here and members of families and children being here this long hour this evening, and we'll be over this, I'm pretty sure, very quickly. But I raise and support, just like I did on other projects, but raise myself with Mayor Celestine, support this. I'm proud to spend this money. It's really only 5% of the $20 million we received from Biscayne. It's for our children. And I'm a little lost for words here because I'm really overcome by all this. This is a challenge to spend money properly in the city council. But this is one case where I have no reserves about spending this money. It will be as important as the 5 new schools brought to our city in the last 6-7 years. It is something that it will be productive. It's money to spend for the greatness of the city. The city has a great future. It has income. It has city fathers. We're the elders of the city. We know what's going to go on in the future because we know about the past, and the past tells you about the future. It is the greatest future we have for the city is to have a facility of this nature. And we spend this money today, I project that we will have less crime, more students graduating. It's simply a better city than we ever had before. Thank you for being here this evening.
Thank you, Councilman. Councilman Garvin.
Thank you. I'd like to ask the architect, I'm sorry, Mr. Zamar, I'm sorry. Would you please tell me more about how you're going to make this building come together? That's an outstanding looking structure. How are you going to do it for under $1 million when the schools need $70 and $80 million to do what they do?
Okay. Well, first what we ended up doing was initially we had a building of 14,000 square feet. What we did was we reduced that particular building for phase 1 to be 8,000 square feet. And what we're doing is looking into building the building as a prefab building. And that prefab building allows us to be able to fabricate the building mostly off-site, which will lower the actual construction costs, and then bringing it on-site, which will be able to make construction time faster. Secondly, because PALS is a 501c company, a lot of the major equipment that can be purchased with no taxes on it. So that will also allow us to assist with be able to bring it into budget as well. So those particular means are the way that we're going to be going.
Will you have to enter into a contract with PAL or with the City of North Miami to do anything further along these lines?
You're saying as far as architectural services? Yes. Right now, our services basically stopped at design development. So what happens is once we actually have have secured the funds, then at that particular time we will be going into a full contract that will be speculating as far as what the particulars are in the building, the construction costs, the design, and the spaces.
Of the $1 million, how much of that do you expect will go toward your services?
Roughly about 5%, plus or minus.
Okay. Question for staff, does that not need to be bid at that level? 5% of $1 million is what, $50,000?
Yes. Through the mayor, councilman, no. Once the funds are given over to the PAL, they do not have to go through the procurement process. But nonetheless, staff will oversee to ensure that the pricing is within the market. We would also assist in the efforts, as the architect had explained, providing our efforts to ensure that we can get any type of tax benefits and so forth.
Okay. I'm looking at the very brief budget that was given to the council tonight, and I have to say I'm not happy with it because it's so lacking detail. Your funds are not here in this budget that you've given us. Where will you cut to be able to come up with the $50,000 for the design, Mr. Johnson?
If this is passed, it will come in phases, and it will come from the funds that are secured for this project.
Okay. So where will you cut to come up? There's a budget that's here in front of us. I'm not clear if this is the budget we're expected to beholden to, or if there's going to be different budget changes along the way. Does the council never see this again because it's going to the CRA, and the CRA board, PAL board will make all of the decisions? I'm at a loss.
No, staff will oversee because this is city's funds, and like we have always done, we will. It's our fiduciary responsibility to just ensure that the fundings are used appropriately for the project at hand. Being that POW is an extension of the police department, we will ensure that to have our play in making sure that things are done within budget, that we will collect proper invoices. Before we just give out the money, we would want to make sure that the invoices are in. Just like any construction project, it will be broken up into phases. There'll be a schedule of values that once the work is done in 25%, sometimes it's done in a third. At that point in time, then we will move forward.
Okay. Well, that's great to hear that, because that was going to be another one of my questions, whether we were just writing $1 million check tomorrow or whether it was more of a drawdown situation. So you're saying it's going to be more of a drawdown situation as we go.
Correct.
Okay. Well, then that really helps me a great deal and really eliminates most of my further questions, because then if there's problems and issues down the line, we have the ability to talk about them. I'm inclined to vote in favor of this tonight, and that's not easy. I know, I just heard the councilman go, ooh. It wasn't you? Okay.
Definitely not.
But I really would have liked to have seen this presentation have a lot more substance to it. The pictures are beautiful. We all love the kids. There's nobody who's going to say that it's not a need in the community. I mean, I was on the PAL directors, 10 plus years ago, and I advocated for the Olympic Training Center back when the original Biscayne Landing stuff went through, that would have had a boxing arena in it. I know there's a need there, but I think it would have been a whole lot better if we'd had more information in front of us of substance. That's all the questions I have.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'm speechless just to see that the energy that the kids actually put into this presentation. I did ask for a presentation the last meeting, but not for a demonstration. It seemed like we were on fire. But it's good to see that finally it seemed like this council can be unified, at least for once, on behalf of the kids. Let's put our hands together for the council. Thank you, guys. So that means we, in spite of everything, we know what's important for this community. So our children are truly well represented tonight. And again, congratulations, PAL. Let me know what else that we can do, this council, to make sure that you do have a home. As a parent of two kind of adult child, adult children, but I understand the need to make sure that your kids safe, have a good education, and have a place to be, not out there on the streets. And I am willing tonight to give PAL a place to be.
Yeah. Councilman Marcellus.
Mr. Zamora, this is a very beautiful building. And really, I love the architecture of it. And probably it's for the staff. Where you going to build that building?
Through the mayor, Councilman Marcellus, there's another item on the agenda regarding a lease of property that is currently owned by the city. It's on another item. And that would be on the southwest corner of Northeast 8th Avenue and 135th Street.
Okay. Public safety is one of my priorities. In order to make the city of North Miami the safest place to live in the state of Florida, I believe we have to start somewhere. Start with the children, probably the best place to start. And let's say that with the brotherhood, the self-esteem, and the education that we get from PAL, I think that can make anybody speechless. And from all this presentation tonight, and I think I probably echo my voice with the Vice Mayor, and I think I'm willing and able to give PAL a place, a permanent place tonight, and I'm ready to do that.
Okay, thank you, Councilman. Mr. Ducky, is there anything you want to add to that?
No, very briefly, let me just give you a real life story of how I am in fact a product of PAL. All my young friends that I grew up with are either currently dead, are convicted felons, or in jail. And that's a real life story. Out of all my close friends that I grew up with, and Sergeant Rosen would tell you who, I was the only one who took the courage, who took Officer Belcher's and Officer Stewart's challenge to join PAL and become an athlete. And that was my gateway, believe it or not. At the age of 14, you don't want to know how many times I was down there at the police station at the age of 14 here in North Miami. I was a troubled child. And PAL saw me through, fortunately, and thanks to God. I became a lawyer at the age of 23, and I was a product of a bad upbringing, and it's because of and today, at one point, I was one of the youngest elected officials here in the state of Florida at one point, and it's because of POW for the most part. And so I want to thank the council for taking POW seriously. I hope that any future administration would always acquiesce to POW, whatever it is POW needs, because it saved lives, and I am a living proof of that. So thank you, council members, for supporting this.
Thank you.
I move the motion, Mr. Mayor, to give the money to POW.
Is that?
Second.
Sponsored. Okay, no problem. Motion was made, seconded. Mr. City Manager?
Yeah, I just wanted the mayor and council to be comfortable that if this is approved, that before we give over money, we would want to make sure, staff would always ensure that there's a set of plans, that the plans have gone through the permit process, they're ready to go, that there is a contractor. We would help POW in taking recommendations, whether it's to ensure that the services are put out properly to safeguard the city's funds.
Okay, thank you. I'm not sure if this council really understands what they're doing here tonight by providing a home for PAL, and I think Mr. Ducky put it correctly. Those of you who didn't grow up in the hood or in the ghetto, you may not really understand what PAL is and what PAL does to your community. When I was growing up in New York, I mean, it was so easy to just get into trouble. And if you don't have an organization like PAL, I didn't think they called it PAL when I was in New York. If you don't have an organization like PAL that actually can take those kids and not only provide the moral support, but actually tell them, one, they can be better, and number two, rather than taking them to jail, creating a record for them and preventing them moving forward in the future, but actually, taking those kids and put them in a path of righteousness. And to me, sometimes, when you do things, you don't see it immediately. In 10 years, we're going to look at the numbers. We're going to look at the kids that are graduating from high school. We're going to look at the FCAT scores. Maybe in 5 years, we're going to say, wow, look what we did in the city of North Miami. And I'm truly proud to be part of this administration that actually, basically take the, I think it came from Africa. It takes a village to raise a child. I forgot exactly who said it, but I think it's a proverb from Africa. And for this council, which a lot of us is not from Africa, it's not even African, American descent, to understand that, we are that village and we are going to raise the children in our community. So again, thank you so much. The motion was made. It was seconded. Anyone wishes to record a no? Hearing none, motion passed. Children, welcome. Thank you. There you go. Okay.
Good luck.
The other item we got there, really, I think it's basically paperwork that must be done. So there's no need to keep the kids here.
You want to get leave?
Really, so you guys could go and get ready, do your homework. Get your homework done and get to school tomorrow morning. Thank you. Okay, while we're moving forward, we would like to recognize the mayor for the beautiful city of North Miami Beach, Mayor George Vallejo. Thank you so much for being here with us, Mayor. Thank you. Let's give him a round of applause. What we are living out of here, and I think we have a councilwoman from the city of North Miami Beach. I think a councilwoman, Barbara Kramer, she's also back here with us. So thank you so much, Barbara, for being here with us. So we are moving on. Okay, so we do have Commissioner, one of the greatest in the country, but the best in Miami-Dade County, Commissioner Jamon Esteem. Thank you so much for being here with us, supporting PAL. So we are going to take a 5-minute recess, and we'll be back here at 8:35. Thank you.
Hey, Ducky. Ducky.
You didn't get the Z-Cam.
I think we're going to get started while we're waiting for the rest of the members of the council to come up here. We have the mayor for the city of North Miami Beach. He's here with us, and basically there's an item on the agenda that he will be speaking regarding that item. I think, this is a recommendation from the city manager, so let's move that forward quickly, Mr. Manager. I guess it's tab Q. I'm going to take tab Q out of order. Mr. City Clerk, would you read tab Q for us?
Proposed resolution approving the execution of an agreement in substantially the attached form between the City of North Miami and MAJ Investment Group, LLC, for the purposes of creating the first annual City of North Miami Mardi Gras.
Okay, this is the Mardi Gras issue. We're waiting for the other two members of the City Council to come forward. I think the first thing we want to hear, is Mr. Rigo Cariad in here? I thought he walked in. Can we get him? Can somebody get him in the lobby? Okay, we are taking up your item at this moment, Mr. Cariad. I see you have a great attorney behind you. Mr. Martin Hill. Welcome to the city of North Miami, Mr. Hill. I'm sure now you got TPS, so you can come up here whenever you feel like it, okay? What we're going to do, we're going to open public hearing on tab Q. Mr. Cariad, would you come forward? I'm not sure if the council will have any questions for you, but we'll do so in a minute. So, Mr. Mayor, would you like, Mr. Manager? Mr. Manager, you have executed a contract with MAJ Investment Group for the purpose of bringing Mardi Gras to the city of North Miami. Are you satisfied with the contract that you have negotiated with MAJ Group?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay, then that's the contract that you are recommended to the City Council to approve tonight in order to bring Mardi Gras to the city of North Miami.
Yes, and I will indicate that in one portion it is blank. There's a couple of issues and concerns, and one is I think we resolved tonight the fee would be $7,000 a month. I think in the initial package it indicated 10, but it would be $7,000 a month. And the other issue is the down payment of how much upfront of that funds would be done, and that was a point of a factor that we would want to leave up between Mr. Cariad and presentation to the council.
The contract that you have negotiated so far, that's the contract you feel comfortable with, that would be Mardi Gras to the city of North Miami.
Correct.
That issue, the council can vote to give upfront payment, whatever that may be, to get him started, to make sure that we could bring Carnival in 2014 to the city of North Miami. Ms. City Attorney, you are part of the negotiation team. That's the contract that you recommended to this council to approve tonight?
Yes, Mayor.
Okay. Public hearing is open on tab Q. Anyone wishes to be heard, and I would love to have my mayor, from the city of North Miami Beach, my good friend. I know you're here for this issue, so you may want to come forward. Anyone of the microphone.
Sure, no problem.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, council members, Mr. City Manager, City Attorney, Mr. City Clerk, city staff in the back. I know you guys were you had the big crowd today, and residents of North Miami. I'm so happy to be here today with you guys. And I am just came out today because I'm thrilled to hear that you have on tap the possibility of bringing this Mardi Gras event to the city of North Miami. I think it's a wonderful idea, and I wanted to come out and speak in support of it. I believe that certainly our cities share more than just a long common border, but we have a shared bond and a friendship that's based on our people and the culture. And I think that this Mardi Gras event will be a signature event. I think it will be a wonderful event, not only for the city of North Miami, but for the entire Northeast Dade community. And I certainly would perhaps, if there's a way that we can help you and get involved somehow, maybe there's a way for us to work together on it. So again, I'm in full support of it, and I really look forward to seeing this event bring a lot of great times to our community up here. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Mayor, did you get a chance to go to Cayo
I was out of town, so I missed it, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I've been to plenty.
You've been to plenty. So do I. And at the Cayo, Mardi Gras what we try to do in North Miami, I think would probably get a chance to beat Cayo. So
I think with Mr. Cayard behind it and the city, I think it's going to be spectacular. So
okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Mr. Commissioner, you are here on that same issue too? Oh man, I mean, we bring the house here.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Madam Vice Mayor, and gentlemen of the board. It's a pleasure to be here. Miami-Dade County is becoming a very major metropolis right now, and these kind of activities are actually what bring a more vibrant life to our economy. And with this Mardi Gras coming to this part of town, and especially with the support of the city of North Miami Beach, I see this quickly becoming an engine of economic development in the area, putting tourist dollars in the pockets of homeowners and small business owners in the area. It will be a challenge, but at the end of the day, if it's benefit the people that serve this community, the people that want to see diversity, the people who want to see culture, the people who want to see, a better, a vibrant North Miami, and for that matter, North Miami Beach, that will make all of us happy. It will be a seasonal event. I'm in full support of that. I look forward to hearing more about it and seeing how North Miami Beach showcase one of the best Mardi Gras ever enacted in the United States of America.
Thank you, Mr. Commissioner. Just let me call the Councilwoman Barbara Kramer before we get to the lawyer.
Good evening, everybody. Good evening, all the residents of North Miami, Mr. Mayor and staff and his colleagues. It's very different for me to be actually on the other side of the dais, but and I should have worn my Mardi Gras beads, but I didn't do that. But I want to say that I am very supportive of what you're doing here. First of all, I'm tired of schlepping all the way south or all the way north, but somewhere that's always different than Northeast Dade County to go to some wonderful event. And I happen to be the liaison to the Multicultural Committee in North Miami Beach. So my heart is not only in my city and your city, but I embrace our multiculturalism. And I think that this is really something that hopefully we can also, our city, partner with North Miami at some point in time together, so we can be there for all the residents could be proud, since they share so much in both the cities at this event. And I hope to be on the committee. And I'm very supportive. I'm very excited for you all. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Okay, now the lawyer. Who said that? Kill all the lawyers?
Not good, Mr. Mayor. Not good. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Pierre, members of the council, Mr. Clerk. Oh, did yourself this evening, Mr. Ducky. Madam City Attorney, Mr. Manager. My name is Marlon Hill. I'm an attorney with the law firm of Delancey Hill. Many a night, I sat there in that seat with the city attorney as counsel to the Code Enforcement Board up until 1 a.m., 2 a.m. Here in the city of North Miami. So it's glad to see my ghost over there. But I'm here as a friend of culture, and also as general counsel to the Miami Broward One Carnival Host Committee, which is a non-profit organization that brings the carnival at Sun Life Stadium for the last 27 years, every Columbus Day weekend for the last 27 years. And I came to bring some perspective as to, it's not just a Mardi Gras. And I wanted to kind of give you the good, the bad, and no ugly. As to why this is an important item for you to bring to this table on behalf of the item for MAJ Investment Group and Mr. Kayard, but it's bigger than that. Now, I came here this evening primarily because I heard that they're going to announce who the Pope is, the Sistine Chapel, really. But the Catholic faith has really inspired many across many countries in Brazil, in Trinidad and Tobago, which is the reason I thank you for moving this item up. I leave for Trinidad and Tobago in the morning at 5 a.m. My wife's from Trinidad, and my aunt, who came to this country from Jamaica in the 60s, met her husband, who is from Haiti, and that is our family. If the city has not really realized it yet, Mr. Mayor, America is changing, not just Black America, but all of America. And in this city, that stands for the city of progress, and being one of the an all-American city, this event that you're considering is more than just about an event. The Miami-Dade County Commission has been funding the Carnival celebration at Columbus Day weekend for many, many years, primarily because of the economic impact and the tourism dollars. I asked the city manager to pay very close attention to three main things as you evaluate whether or not this is good for the city. Public safety, quality of life, and the economic impact and accountability of the return of the investment back to the city. You got to pay attention to the dollars that you're going to spend on police, solid waste, and other city services, and then you're going to have to match that to, on the other side of the balance sheet, to the money that is spent on buying food, money that is spent on hotels, money that is spent on parking, the people that come to the city. If you look at Coyote, it's a street festival, it's free to everyone, but it's a major impact to that strip. I encourage you to have a conversation with the residents as to how they would like this event to look like. You have Labor Day Carnival on the Queens Parkway in Brooklyn, 3 million people. You have the Street Festival in Notting Hill, London, 4 million people. You have Miami Carnival in Columbus Day weekend, hundreds of thousands of people that come from all over the world. Over 35% of the visitors, 35% of the attendees to the carnival in Columbus Day weekend are visitors from outside of Dade County they spend at least $600 to $700 while they're here for the weekend, with a direct economic impact of $12 million. You have to evaluate all of that. I don't know exactly where you're going to place the Mardi Gras, Ringo, what street it's going to be, whether it's West Dixie Highway or can be Biscayne Boulevard, but we'll see. So with that, I wanted to kind of ask you to focus on the economic impact, public safety, and quality of life to make sure that the citizens are part of the event, not resisting the event. Because Carnival and Mardi Gras, unless you understand the culture, you won't be able to embrace it in the same way. You can't compare. City of North Miami is not New Orleans. City of North Miami is not Port of Spain. City of North Miami is not Port-au-Prince. But you have people from those cities living right here in this in the city. So I would like to close. Joan Ragunan is the chair of the Miami Carnival Broward One Carnival Host Committee. She's from St. Lucia. Mr. Ruth Van Williams, he's the executive director. He is from Trinidad and Tobago. And I'd like to offer up Graylin Woods from the Greater Miami. She's from the Black Hospitality Initiative. If she could come up just to share a few thoughts on what the county is doing with regards to heritage tourism.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hill. Mr. Hill, is it Jim Carville, the CNN political analyst that says America is changing stupid? Is that what he said? I think that's what he said. So, yeah, I think he said that, But yeah, thank you so much. America is changing, but you didn't see the stupid part of it.
No.
Yes. Yes.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and the board. Thank you for this opportunity. I'd just like to say I'm the executive director of the Black Hospitality Initiative, and I'm also a part of the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau. And I think most of you know our city is the hospitality mecca of, we'd like to think, is of the world. Miami every month bring more than 1 million visitors to our city. We have a total of about 12.5 million visitors annually. And the economic impact, I think, as Marlon has said, is just tremendous. Our income on an annual basis is about $80 billion. So I think any neighborhood, any community that have major events can stand to benefit. The local businesses can benefit. Of course, the pride that comes from community planning. And just recently, the Greater Miami Convention and Visitors Bureau had about 5 town meetings to talk about cultural heritage. As a matter of fact, I direct the cultural heritage programs. Right now, we're in historic Overtown. We're doing work in Little Haiti, and we're doing work in Little Havana, which we plan to spread throughout the city. But the whole objective is to try to bring some of the foot traffic from the beaches into the cultural neighborhoods. And when I spoke to Marlon last night and he was telling me about this event, it just made sense for me to sort of come and support the efforts that we're doing on a larger scale. And not only in this part of this city, but we're also looking at the southern part of Miami, going down to Piran and Naranja and Homestead. So our city is just so rich with diversity and cultural multidimensional aspects of our neighbors that we really think that this would be a great event to support. But I think what Marlon did say is worth echoing, is to look at the economic impact, look at what this will bring for our local businesses, and to look at the issues of public safety and all of those things that come when you bring major events. But I think that our city stands in a very good position to celebrate diversity, and because it's not in this part of the city, North Miami, it would be I think a splendid opportunity for you to consider having such an initiative occur when it's being planned. So it just goes along with what Miami represents. Each day, millions of people come, and I think that they should also try to have some traffic in this part of the neighborhood. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, public hearing is open on tab Q.
Mike McDearmaid, 840 Northeast 127th Street. Good to see you, Marla. A lot of wonderful things have been said about this potential carnival tonight, and I agree with all of them. I'm a lifelong resident of North Miami, and I think this kind of event is long overdue. We hear about diversion in the city and about this side and that side and that kind of talk, and yet, with all of our diversity, this kind of event could really help pull this community together. This kind of event could help draw businesses to our city. There'll be people coming here that have never been to the city of North Miami before, and they'll see the resources we have. They'll see all the positives that we have, Mocha, which is certainly a gem in the city. They will see what this city can be. It will draw businesses. It will draw people that will want to live here and buy homes here. And certainly it will do a lot in going forward to help bring this city together. So a lot of things, wonderful things have been said, which I say I agree with all of them, and I'm sure there's going to be even more wonderful things said. I think we need to move ahead, make a decision that this is something that in the long run is going to be in the best interest of the city of North Miami and the whole North Dade community. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike.
Richard Ennis, 13030 Northeast 10th Avenue. When I watched this last meeting and this subject came up and there was this presentation, and a couple of the concerns were that there was no contract. Mr. Johnson had nothing in writing from these people of how it was going to be done. City attorney said she didn't agree with anything to be done at that point. And miraculously, 2 weeks later, we have a contract that everybody likes. And one of the questions that I had last week, 2 weeks ago when I watched this, was why is it no longer being done at the City of Miami if it was such a fantastic situation? I saw part of that answered in a Herald article this week. And I don't know how we're expected to get up here and talk about this when all we're told is, okay, we have a contract and we want to move forward, and nothing about the logistics of how this is going to be done, where it's going to be done. I mean, when you shut down the 125th Street for the parade, and they divert traffic past my street, and they put barriers up, people drive across my lawn, drive across the swale. I mean, they go through the stop sign. There's almost accidents there. I'm 5 blocks from downtown Miami. That's for 2 hours for the parade, and that's just local residents coming. There's not a whole lot of people trying to park. If this thing is supposed to draw 300,000 people, supposedly that's what it used to draw. I don't know if it's going to have the same kind of draw. If it doesn't, you're not going to make any money. And you want to shut down, let's say, 125th Street all day Sunday. I'm 5 blocks from 125th Street. I need to know about, as the attorney said, safety, quiet enjoyment of my residents. What are you going to do for parking? The logistics of this have not been presented. So I don't know how we can even sit here and say whether we're for it or against it. It doesn't make any sense to be just saying, okay, all of a sudden we have a contract and we want to move forward. I'm surprised that you didn't slide this on the consent agenda. I just have many, many concerns about safety and parking and why it wasn't continued to be done with the City of Miami, and now all of a sudden 5 or 6 years later it's going to be fantastic and you want to bring it to North Miami. There's too many questions for me to say that I would think that this is a great thing to go forward with.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, Mayor. My name is Paola Pierre. I'm the Executive Director of the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce. And we've been working for the past few years in the North Miami area. And we find out that it has been very successful. Why? Because we have a lot of, our community members are here in town. We have businesses. When I read in the paper about the Mardi Gras being brought to North Miami, I said to myself, that was like about time that we do something, we bring it here. And what's the impact it's going to have? It's like we're going to increase our revenues. Our small businesses will make it. We're also going to have the economic development is going to be great. Why? Because we have hotels, we have restaurants, we have small businesses. They can do so much in there, and then especially if it's going to be a recurring event, many people, we can plan for it for next year, what we can do to make a better impact, and then so we can sustain the economy. And as far as feasibility for North Miami, I think it's great. And then, of course, it did happen in downtown, but then also, why not in North Miami? And if there's one person that can do it, I know he's done it for many years, it's Ringo Carrier that's here. And then we're here to support him, and then we're also here to partner, and then to sustain the businesses, that anyone that needs capacity, whenever we can support them, we will do so. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Good evening. Carol Keys, 12550 Palm Road.
Hi, Mayor. Thank you. Thank you, Councilwoman.
Thank you. I think this Mardi Gras is an excellent opportunity for our city. Our city is in great need to bridge the cultural gap. This is going to hopefully be a multicultural event. It will bring together the Haitians, Anglos, Hispanics, the Caribbeans, all ages, races, and that's something really our city needs. So I think it's something important that we work on and move forward. Mr. Hill made a very good point that if this carnival, Mardi Gras, is in fact going to be as large as we hope it is, that it will overwhelm our residents and our businesses. And I think we should recognize that, and I think the idea of pre-town hall meetings would be a great idea to let the citizens speak, find out and advise them what to expect, how long it's going to be, what the traffic patterns are going to be. Let them know what's going to be in their neighborhood so they're not like just overwhelmed the day when 300,000 people show up in their street, their backyard. And I think we need to recognize that we do have residents that just need to be recognized. I think it's going to be a great economic boom to the city. It was brought up at the Chamber of Commerce this morning. We discussed it, and overall the opinion of the directors was the Chamber would welcome this event, and they would really like to participate and get the businesses involved. And that way we can also meet with the businesses and let them know what to expect. So the Chamber is looking to maybe participate on this event. So I'm in support of it, but be mindful of the citizens and the businesses. Let's not overwhelm them. And I think we can all be happy with that. Thank you.
Esther Blinn, 1990 Northeast 118th Road. I think it promises to be a very exciting event, and I think it takes, as I believe the speaker last week, Mr. Coyard, said, someone with experience and someone with talent and someone with success in this area, and I think the council only required that he present a contract that meets with the council's approval, and that there's a review, periodic review, to make sure that things are progressing properly. So I'm very excited to see that that happens. I mean, I don't know what we do with 300,000 people in North Miami, but we could try.
Thank you. Anyone else wishes to be heard on tab Q before we move into council discussion? Anyone else? Okay, hearing none, we are going to close public hearing on tab Q. I mean, I received, in addition to what we heard from the public, I received so many comments, telephone calls about, you know, I mean, not a single person called me to say this is not a good idea. It's all been, you know, we need this, it should be happening. One person compared Mardi Gras to the Thanksgiving Day parade that we have in the city of North Miami. Another person compared to the Mardi Gras in New Orleans. So basically, I think, you know, it's really time to move forward with that kind of activity, that kind of magnitude for the city of North Miami. What we're doing tonight basically is to give Mr. Kaya the green light to go forward, to put all the pieces together to bring Carnival, to bring Mardi Gras to the city of North Miami. So far, we have not secured sponsors. We have not, you know, talked to the businesses in the city of North Miami. We have not agreed on exactly where Carnival is going to be. We have not agreed with streets. That is something that would come up later, and that city council would make that decision. So the only single issue that is before us is to engage in the idea of bringing Carnival, Mardi Gras to the city of North Miami. So, Councilman Blinn.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I have full confidence that Ringo Kayad and his brother will do a good job, and this event will be extremely successful. I do have problems in the logistics of the event that Mr. Richard Ames brought up, who lives at 13030 Northeast 10th Avenue. The city has to make preparations for the citizens to understand that they are going to be slightly put out of their normal routines, and traffic patterns are going to change. I would like the city to give me assurance that I can, if I'm reelected, of course, I can, I can have some type of town hall meeting with the citizens, not just one, but a couple, to put them on notice, to give them ideas what's going to be involved in the time of that carnival. Mr. City Manager, is that possible?
Through the mayor, Councilman Glenn, yes.
Because I really don't want them to have dozens of complaints after this is over. Let's try to make it as easy as possible on the citizens. Because I think there's going to be a very large number of people. Not necessarily, I don't think 300,000 could be accommodated in the city. But tens of thousands could very well be here. And I'm hoping they're not going to be destructive either. I looked over your contract. It's very transparent. The consulting and the actual sponsors, the duty to furnish the information. I hope all that comes through fruition and it's done successfully. And I embrace this idea. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Garvin?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. And I agree that Mr. Kayard is uniquely qualified to run this event should we approve it this evening. I have a few questions for staff, however. Where do we envision this being?
There's two proposed locations, 125th Street. There are some discussions about a joint venture with North Miami Beach, as indicated tonight. If so, we would try to look at a connecting venue. That discussion was West Dixie Highway. That's the street that sort of links the two cities together. So, but right now the primary site is 125th Street.
Okay. I'm quickly scanning through the contract here because we had a lot on our agenda tonight. It mentions that the city, if there are cost overruns, it's going to be more. We need more police. There's 300,000 people here. We need more police. Things like that. It looks like the city is on the hook for paying for those things, including event staff, like the stage personnel and stuff like that would be involved. Is that correct?
That's correct. Through the mayor, councilman. However, within 3 months, Mr. Kayard would have to produce an action plan, sort of like a business plan, that will provide us how those funds are going to be recouped. One of the things that we felt comfortable with is the fact that there was a plan of action to get sponsors, in particular to cover city costs. So that action plan of getting 3, possibly 4 major sponsors would cover that city's costs.
Okay, that's a good answer. Sorry, I'm reading my notes here. I didn't quite understand subsection 6 or paragraph 6, however you want to call it, the artists. If the Rolling Stones, I know I'm making up because I don't know anybody else good to choose, but the Rolling Stones want to come perform, are we on the hook for paying for the Rolling Stones' expenses to perform, travel, and stay?
Through the mayor, councilman, Madam Attorney and I felt that it should be the city reviewing that contract, coordinating that for a couple reasons. One is that we wanted to put a mechanism that we would ensure that they would be there. We would control that contract after they are introduced to us to ensure that their attendance would be there, including how the contract with them would be, such as giving them a particular amount up front as agreed upon, and then the balance due, because it's anticipated that you would want to have a group that would be a drawing card. So we felt that it'd be in the best interest of the city to control that.
So that means, yes, if the Rolling Stones are coming, we're paying the Rolling Stones airfare, hotel, and appearance fee.
Yes.
What do we do? And again, I wish we had a budget alongside this proposal tonight. What do we do if we're not getting any sponsors? And I'm worried about worst case, which is in no way reflection on Mr. Kayard. Like I said, he's uniquely qualified to pull this off. But just barring any change in circumstance, where are we going to come up with money to cover costs like that?
As we move along into the project, there are certain phases as indicated in the contract There's certain expectations with the business plan. We expect to have commitments from sponsors, multiple sponsors, as well as other vendors. And based upon that, it would allow us to have a projected budget of who we could afford to bring in. So therefore, if we got a major person and was able to secure that, then we know that moving away from those spots, vendors tend to want to become closer to that. As I indicated last council meeting, I knew very little about it, but we spent quite a bit of time with Mr. Kayard. I did some other exploratory and checked out with other cities that did events like this, and this is pretty much how it works. You bring in a major group, people and vendors tend to want to be next to that, so when you have these tents or vendor booths, they pay a higher amount. So what Mr. Kayard would be doing is in his presentation, in his business plan, in our monthly meetings, we would have secured that so we can kind of monitor the budget and know what we can afford and cannot afford as we move along.
Okay. And my last question, just as we started to talk about this tonight, you mentioned $7,000 a month would be the fee that is being requested. Am I correct?
Yes. In the initial presentation, it was $10,000. I know that just from getting feedback, that seemed to be a little bit much. In speaking to Mr. Kayard, we did reach a $7,000 a month fee that we were more in line comfortable
So that
with.
seven times 12, 7,000 times 12 equals $84,000. Are you asking us to give a part of that $84,000 up front with the remainder spread out over the remaining months? Or are you asking us to spread the $84,000 out and put some other dollar amount on top of that as an upfront fee?
Well, I think Mr. Kayard would probably be more prepared to present what he was asking for in that standpoint. That was a part that we felt that should come before council to find out what you're comfortable with based upon his presentation to you.
Okay, what are you recommending? Are you recommending $84,000 plus another upfront amount, or just $84,000 and work with that?
$84,000 would be the total
Okay.
Of the contract. However, we do realize that he does need some startup, and that's what he would present here, but the total would be the $84,000.
No, and I'm comfortable with that. I just wasn't understanding
Sure.
what was being asked of us. So that's the only question I have, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, Councilman Marcellus.
2 months ago, Mr. Kayard came to me and with a lot of good ideas about Mardi Gras of North Miami. And he's so persistent and his ideas. I said, Wengo, why don't you put this thing on papers? And went to the council. And went to the council members. If they feel good about it, I want myself to sponsor this item and to the council. And surprisingly, Rengo followed through. He went to every council members and with the proposal and well presented and met with every single one of them. And Rengo came here 2 meetings ago and make a really brief presentations about Mardi Gras of North Miami Mardi Gras. And since then, I received so many phone calls from different people and talking about how good this Mardi Gras will be for North Miami. And to let you know this tonight, Rengo, for some reason, I think I feel comfortable. I feel comfortable because the way you follow through with the ideas and the way the people receive these ideas, and I think you're capable of delivering this thing. the way you say it. And beside of that, it will take 1 year of preparations before we get the Mardi Gras in North Miami. That tells me you take some time to organize this thing, not something you just doing it today and tomorrow. It's not a fast food or it's not a fast Mardi Gras. Is that something that takes time? And for all these things, really, I feel glad that I bring this thing to the council, and really, I cannot wait for when I might say the next year for us to have really a good Mardi Gras. And we say about 300,000 people. How are we going to accommodate all of them? And I say yes. I can echo my voice with Carol, with Mrs. Kizamin. If we educate our people prior to this event, they know about it, and they will understand it, and they will accommodate. I understand our constituents. He has a concern. How are we going to do it? And my lawn, and only for 2 hours, we have the Thanksgiving parade, and it was a big deal. But what if we close the 125th Street for the whole day? Really, if we prepare ourselves, we educate ourselves, we educate our people, I think we can afford more than 300,000 people, and the revenue will be good for the city of North Miami. In a sense, I'm for it, and I support it, and please, Rengo, do not deceive us, and I count on you to deliver. Thank you very much.
Vice Mayor.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We just find out there are two things that actually can unify this council. There are children in Mardi Gras. From now on, I know every council member, what is a soft spot? I have not much to say. This is one of those rare times where East Side and the West Side meet together and not fighting or agree on one subject. Actually, it's Mardi Gras. So, Mr. Rengo, good job, good luck, and you know exactly the time, the right time to bring it on. Election time.
Learning from you.
You're right. You know, good luck. So, I hope that you bring success to the city of North Miami.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Move it.
Okay,
Second.
motion was made, was seconded. Anyone wishes to record a no? Hearing none, item passed, contract has been approved. The second issue is, I think we should give him an upfront startup funding to get started. I make a motion to give him $50,000 upfront to get started, and that is from the $84,000 that we paying them to do the carnival. Excuse me. Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, the total proposal was 120, and we scheduled that 7,000 a month for 10 months, which is 70, not 85, and the startup cost will be the 50. I also make sure that we remove every single expenses such as traveling, lodging, and restaurant and all that I may occur by traveling in other places to bring carnival or to bring donations such as the costume. So all that the city won't have to pay none of that. So that's why the total will be the 50,000 and then only 7,000 per month for only 10 months.
So you want 36,000 up front on top of the 84?
No. The 50 will be to set up. You have to have an office, you have to hire employees, you have to get phones, you have to basically do a lot of stuff. Before you realize it, that money is not even yours because that's money you have to spend in order to make
36
it.
and 84 are 120,000.
No, there is no 84. It would be 70 and 50. Because if you give 84, you're going to give too much. We don't want to take more.
It's 70 plus 50.
So how much do you want?
The total would be 50 upfront and only 70 instead of 84. So we don't want to take nothing extra from the city.
You want 10 months for 7,000?
10 months.
And 50,000 up front?
Yes. Because you were going to give me 84 plus 50, and that would not be right according to the contract.
Mr. City Manager, do you accept that?
I will defer to this council.
Mr. Mayor, you need a motion for
What's
that?
your recommendation?
Our recommendation was that, as stated, I think the concern was whether or not it should be 10,000 a month. If that was too much, it's a total of 120. I would defer to this council to see what you're comfortable with.
But you already saved the city and this council about almost $40,000, because initially it was 120 and now we down to 84, not even 84, we down to 70. So
I
that's
think
really
that-
$50,000 that you always saved this council. So
I think Mr. Kayard is still saying 120,000.
It was 50,000
I
plus
think
70.
that he
10
is
months is
structuring the
70,000.
payments a little bit different. So it's 50,000 is what he's asking, and the balance is $70,000, and he's asking that 7,000 be given over a 10-month period.
Okay.
To be the 120. And I was, my feedback was from different staff and you all, but you're talking about the difference of 120 to 84. So I think that it just would have to be based upon
It was
the
120 to
value,
70.
Yeah, that you want to place on it. I certainly will leave that component to you, but we're okay with it. I'm okay with it if you're okay with it.
Yes.
I think that through the presentation, the mayor of the great city of North Miami Beach and the councilwoman just mentioned that they wanted to partner with us. So in what capacity? They're going to share the expenses or just the glory? Which part of it?
Mrs. Vice Mayor, may I answer that?
Yes.
If we have, and I would encourage to have the city of North Miami Beach participate in, whatever money that North Miami Beach will be giving is going straight to the pot of the city of North Miami. So like that.
Oh no, you shouldn't be worried about it. I'm just asking him. Maybe the city manager have some kind of meeting with them, or in what capacity that we want to partner.
Yeah, through the mayor, vice mayor, I only heard that they were somewhat interested, and then tonight was the first night that I heard. I have not had any meetings with them or anything like that to find out how we would orchestrate that.
Okay.
But that comes later on. I mean, the single issue before us right now is engaging Mr. Kayard to bring Mardi Gras to the city of North Miami. So that's a little bit different. And I think, once Mr. Kayard is engaged, then he'll go forward, get North Miami Beach, maybe get the Greater Miami Chamber of Commerce, get the Haitian Chamber of Commerce, the North Miami Chamber of Commerce, and this collaboration. So I think there's a single issue before us.
Mr. Mayor.
All that stuff come later. Yes, sir.
Can I make a motion?
Sure.
Make a motion to give Mr. Kaya $50,000 and toward the 120,000. You only ask 7,000 for 10 months. That's what save any. I make a motion to give him this $50,000 up front.
Okay, $50,000 up front and $7,000 per month. I'll second that motion. Anyone wishes to work it or no?
Question.
Sure.
Since a second. So we're back up to the 120,000?
Yes.
I think we need to negotiate a little bit. I think we were at 120 to start with. We came down to 84, we thought, and now we're going back up to 120. Would there be an acceptance to a friendly amendment of 50 up front with another 50 spread out over the remaining year? That's meeting halfway at $100,000.
Mr. Garvin, Councilman Garvin, everything in life, has a price. If we go to McDonald's, of course there is a price, but if you go to Joe Stone Crab, that's a different price. We want to bring Mardi Gras, and we want to do it right. We don't want to cut corners for $10,000 or $500. That's why I'm already cutting all the expenses that I may accrue myself. In talking going to Trinidad, to Haiti, to New Orleans, places like Jamaica, Brazil. I'm going to have to eat all that because I want to bring Mardi Gras in the city to unite all the communities.
I'm going to do something I rarely do, and it's go out on a limb for somebody.
Yes.
I'm going to go out on a limb and withdraw my friendly, but in voting yes means I can always bring it back in the future. And if we're 6 months from now and I'm not feeling comfortable with the way this thing is going and we're still talking about potential maybe, could be, then I'll be wanting us to revisit that. So let it be known now that I'm going to be watching. I want it to be a success. I really have confidence. I wouldn't be going out on a limb if I
I know.
didn't think
We
it
know
was
each other for only, what, 27, 30 years?
back when I had brown hair. But do you follow where I'm coming from? I'm just trying
Yes,
to
of
spend,
course.
we spend a lot of the city's dollar
Yes.
up here. We spent $1 million of it a little bit earlier
Yes.
tonight. I'm just trying to make sure we don't break the bank and then have nothing to show for it.
Okay. I didn't ask for the million, by the way. I only asked for 120.
Thank you. All right.
Thank
No further questions.
In 6 months, when this being reviewed, I'm going to be drinking Cuba Libre someplace else, so I won't be part of that review process. Your motion was made, it was seconded. Anyone wishes to record or no? Hearing none, item pass. Thank you so much,
Thank you so
Mr.
much.
Couillard.
And I guarantee you, you're going to get a Mardi Gras and a great Mardi Gras. And we're going to contact the other cities to partners. Thank you so much.
And make sure we get some money. We get some revenue from it.
Believe me, if you make it, I will make it. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay.
We never did consent agenda.
Finally, no, we're not even there yet. We have one more presentation. I'm sorry, the people from Hero has been waiting here for a while. Can we bring the presentation from Hero? Special.
Mr. Mayor,
Mr. Tolley, how are you?
council members. My name is Daniel. I'm here from the Hero Diabetes Education Program. We're looking to partner with the city of North Miami. Hero is an education company located in Hollywood. I know that there's probably some members here in this room that have diabetes, if not, definitely some family members that have diabetes. The rate of diabetes in the state of Florida is 9.9%, which compared to a nationwide average of 8.3%. We know that 47.9% of people in the nation do not have never had education for diabetes. So we would like to bring an accredited education program to North Miami. Hero is accredited by the American Association of Diabetes Educators, and we're the only company in the nation to be nationally accredited. We're also regionally accredited with the American Diabetes Association. Diabetes is one thing we do. We also have classes on smoking cessation and cardiovascular health. We're working with other areas of Florida. The Department of Health has given us a grant to go into Okeechobee County, and also we just received a grant from the Office of Minority Health's Closing the Gap office to come into Broward and Dade County to do classes for cardiovascular health and diabetes education at no cost that the patients will be seeing. We would like to partner in order to make the citizens of Miami to improve their health and improve their lives. I thank you for the opportunity.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Tony. I mean, we're going to need you to send us more information, and the city manager would distribute it to us for us to take a look at it, then we'll get back to you. Thank you so much for your presentation. Okay. City events announcement.
You still there? It's only 9:30.
Good morning, Mayor and Council.
Good morning.
Feels like good morning. Good evening, everyone, and to our viewers on Mini TV 77. I have a few highlights I'd like to share with you this evening on events through the end of March. Starting with tomorrow, the North Miami Public Library invites you to a Meet the Author program. They're hosting Carla Gottlieb as she presents her book, The Mother of Us All, A History of Queen Nanny of the Jamaican Maroons. And this is a story in celebration of Women's History Month. We have lots of festivities throughout the month of March in honor of National Women's History Month, and this is one of them. The author Carla Gottlieb is also a director of community partnerships at Dream and Green. For more information on this program, which will be held tomorrow evening, March 14th at 7 p.m. at the North Miami Public Library, 835 Northeast 132nd Street. I'm sorry, Thursday, March 14th, 7 p.m., North Miami Public Library, 835 Northeast 132nd Street. You can contact the library directly on this and many of their other programs that they offer, 305-891-5535. Next Tuesday, March 19th, the Olita Partners LLC is hosting a Biscayne Landing workshop from 6 to 8 p.m. at the Biscayne Landing Sales Center located at 15045 Biscayne Boulevard to unveil the conceptual master development plan for the Biscayne Landing site. For more information, we ask that you please contact the Swerdlow Group at 305-442-6529. Next Wednesday, March 20th, we have a career and resource fair highlighting training in the construction trades. The North Miami Community Redevelopment Agency, in collaboration with the city, as well as Miami-Dade County Public Schools and South Florida Workforce, is hosting a career resource day to provide our residents with information and access to training in a variety of construction fields, such as electrical, plumbing, general contracting, tile, a lot of other training, information on financial aid and other resources to facilitate access to training is available. For more information, you can log on to our website, northmiamifl.gov, and or the northmiamicra.org for the flyer and additional details. You can also contact the CRA office at 305-899-0272. Next Wednesday evening, March 20th, Vice Mayor Sterrill will be hosting her first State of District 4 address. That will take place at the Joe Celestine Center, located at 1525 Northwest 135th Street. Vice Mayor Sterrill will deliver that address highlighting the accomplishments and her commitment to progress since taking office in 2005. Following her address, a formal dedication of the city's first commission artwork as part of our Artwork in Public Places program. The I Dream to See mural will also be held that evening, and we'll be hosting the artist of that work, Adonis Parker. A reception will follow those festivities. Please RSVP to the Office of the Mayor and Council at 305-895-9815. And last but not least, I'd like to share our Hall of Fame ceremony in honor of Myrna Pavlak and Desaline Victor, also as a part of our Women's History Month celebrations. Will take place right here on the second floor of North Miami City Hall on Thursday, March 21st at 11:30 a.m. Here in the council chambers and in our Hall of Fame in the lobby atrium area. We are honoring Myrna Pavlak, who was actually inducted to the city's Hall of Fame in 1992 for her activism in several city projects and advancing opportunities for youth in our community. And we will rededicate her plaque, which has not been a part of the Hall of Fame. We also are honoring Desaline Victor, who was nominated this year for her perseverance at age 102 to cast her vote during long lines in the first day of early voting for the 2012 presidential election. We ask also that you please RSVP to the Office of the Mayor and Council at 305-895-9818. And I did say last but not least, but this is really last but not least. We have a celebration of women in honors of Women's History Month on Thursday, March 28th at the Mocha Paradise Courtyard, starting at 6 p.m. In honor of the month, we invite you to join Vice Mayor Maria Orlan Sterrill and Mayor Andre Pierre to celebrate women that have made an impact in their fields throughout our community. Again, we ask that you RSVP to the Office of the Mayor and Council, 305-895-9815. And all of these events are located on our website in both the community calendar at northmiamifl.gov and also on our Celebrate site, which you can click the Celebrate icon and go directly to that to download all of the information. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Pam.
I have a quick question. Some an information that you just provide that 1992 that we already inducted Myrna. So what happened to her plaque?
Myrna has had her plaque.
So then why are we doing it again? Why nobody ever told us up here that we didn't?
I'm
we
not
have to. vote on it.
Now that I know she's already been appointed, I can appoint somebody else later on. So I
Her
saw
plaque has not been installed there,
Yeah.
so upon researching it, and I'll defer, to the manager on that, but we don't have
This
plaque.
become like a big joke. You guys,
And through the mayor, council, vice mayor, upon contacting her,
yes.
again, this is historical data,
Congratulations.
and we are accustomed to everyone being on the board. At that time, we learned from Ms. Pavlak that she had already been inducted. So she abducted her plaque.
She took it with her.
Yes.
She has it. That's
at,
what you're saying.
At the time, that's what was done. and
So
that
what
was
is it
the-
that you guys expecting us to do? To
Well,
do it again or what?
We were sort of rededicating.
We dedicate. So she's gonna bring it back to us and for us to put it up there, or
Well,
what is
actually,
it we're
her
doing?
plaque is not consistent with what's out there.
Okay.
So we would be doing a reinduction ceremony.
Okay, that makes sense. All right.
Okay. I guess we started this North Miami Hall of Fame in 1979. From 1979 till 2010, there has never been a black person inducted into the North Miami Hall of Fame till 2010. So that's a little bit of non-black history month. We probably let the people know about that. I don't know why, because if you look back into the census numbers, in 1980 the city was about 10% African Americans. In 1990 the city went up to about 30% African Americans, and in 2000 the city went up to, my microphone is on, so it must be back there. Okay, in 2010, in 2000 the city was about 55% African Americans, but there has never been appointed to the North Miami Hall of Fame until 2010. That from 1979 to 2010 is what, 30 years? 30 years there has never been an African American appointed to the North Miami Hall of Fame. So
I'll give you one better. There's still no GLBT members.
Who?
There's no what?
There's no GLBT members.
Oh, there's no one. Right. Oh, okay. That's another one. There's never been a gay, lesbian appointed to the North Miami Hall of Fame. So, city projects update, Mr. Manager.
Mayor, we're going to ask our Public Works Director, Mr. Ghani, if he can come up and just give us an update on our city projects.
And
then
that will also be
incorporate
incorporated into Tab V, which is the Biscayne Lending update. Okay.
Biscayne Lending update.
Can we do Biscayne Lending first?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. We do have Mr. Herb Tillman, I think the manager for the site.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, staff, Mr. Manager, City Attorney, Dr. Wood. I thank you for taking me a bit out of order here. You guys do party late into the night. I got to give you credit for that, but you made some fantastic decisions tonight. I'm kind of proud to see some of the money that was generated from the conveyance of the property go to the uses as it has tonight. That was kind of made me feel proud, kind of like a little part of that. That was good, really great. I was asked to come before you this evening and give you a brief update on some of the activities at Biscayne Landing and some of the other benefits that are being generated. We've been on the site for 6 months now. As you I'm sure are aware, the biggest component of the first several months is design, permitting, clearing, all of that sort of thing. But there are three major components of construction that were to take place on that site. One of them would be filling the various lakes to create developable property, and the second was to mass grade the site to give it some even contour, take some of the highs and the lows out and make it somewhat navigable to traffic that we would expect through the site. And then the third major component was to design, permit, and construct a spine road that would effectively connect the existing Biscayne Landing Boulevard at 151st Street, head south through the property and turn toward the west and connect to 143rd Street intersection. We're currently actively filling Lake number 6, and we have the permit in for consideration by the Water Management District to fill the rest of the lakes. We expect some permitting to be completed within the next 2 or 3 months. We're also in the process of sourcing and receiving fill material for these lakes. We're looking to receive some 600,000 cubic yards onto that site. And to give you some comparison of volume, the city of Fort Lauderdale Airport is, in their runway expansion, is taking on 7 million cubic yards, so we're just a little dwarf of that. Furthermore, we're completing traffic studies to satisfy the various permitting authorities in getting the Spine Road design completed and permitting. So we are about to go for permitting of the mass grading. When we start that process, you'll see some major employment being hit with the machines, the trucks, and the various pieces of equipment throughout the site. As we source material, we have crushing operations and sorting and classification. That's just a glorious way of saying we're moving our way. We'd like to see it go faster, but it's going as fast as we possibly can now with the constrictions that we have of the roads coming into the site and the ability to source materials that are otherwise placed elsewhere in the two-county area. For the upcoming schedule, we're going to finalize our master plan here by the end of April. You heard in the city events an advertisement for a workshop, if you will, a town hall meeting workshop that we're having a week from tonight, starting at 6 o'clock at the Sales Center on the corner of 151st Street and Biscayne Boulevard. We went before Planning Commission last week. They've suggested some changes. We intend to make some of those changes, and we will present the result of those changes a week from tonight. I'm sure you will see quite a difference. For those of you that haven't seen any of it, I invite you all out there. I invite all comments from the residents. Please attend. As far as the Lakeville permitting, again, I expect to receive the permit for the rest of the lakes in June. I can go on and on and on into detail. Y'all have been here late tonight. I can respond to any of your questions about other site activities, but I kind of get the sense I'm boring you with the details. We have funded for your North Miami Educational Foundation, which I understand you're going to appoint some of the directors or staff or board members tonight. We have funded the first $250,000 to get that fund off and running at the receipt of the grant of the 501c3 certification, which I was glad to see that get off and running. So that's happened. Now you're ready to appoint your directors, and we support that wholeheartedly. I'd like to see that be very successful. We've had some various requests for bids, for proposals, landscaping, site security services, and so forth. Some other site-wide sampling. We've awarded all of those through the competitive bid process. We followed the city's procurement process in that and have been successful in dedicating those to the local preference contractors. Again, more detail. I don't think you need to know much of that. I'll be more than happy to share it with you at your request. We also have an upcoming award for surveying. We have advertised that through the Haitian American Chamber of Commerce, through the Greater Miami Chamber, and through the Greater North Miami Chamber of Commerce, as well as the Minority Business Development Agency. I was asked a question: how do we advertise those? How far in advance do we go out for those? These are making upcoming activities and contracting available to city contractors, local contractors, and we allow others to compete as well, but the city contractors are given preference in that. As to the local preference program, we turned in our quarterly report for the last quarter of last year, and I gave a report on that on the 22nd before you. Our next quarterly report is due in March 15th, I believe, or I'm sorry, April 15th, okay, 2 weeks after the quarter. The results of the first quarterly report that we delivered for last quarter of last year were such that we were at about 20% of the employees dedicated to Biscayne Landing were City of North Miami residents, as confirmed with Leslie Prudence research as well as our internal research. In addition to that, 21% of the total dollars spent on that site were spent with City of North Miami vendors and contractors. They either possessed that business tax receipt or they qualified in the other two ways by having at least 10% of their employees were city residents, or they were partnered with another city vendor that had at least 10% of their business. And at that, we hit over 21% of the total dollars spent on that site were to City of North Miami vendors. I'll speak on one more topic, and that is the occupational education and training program. That's been a very popular topic here lately, as it has been with us. We have a class of 20 that we selected from the initial group that came through our job fair on October 27th of last year. To produce that first class, we had to interview over 60 people. We found 20 that had the interest, that was able to, were at the level of literacy that they could participate in the program. We hired a company. OIC is the anagram form. I think the city manager met with them today. They produced a curriculum, if you will, that started off with the OSHA 10-hour training course. This course is a necessary prerequisite to be hired on a construction site here in South Florida. This group of participants went through the first 2 days and completed that 10-hour course and were certified by the end of the second day. That same group of 20 is going to start an extended curriculum Monday next week, and that it will be consistent of about 8 modules of education. Will last some 15 to 16 weeks. At the completion of that 8 modules, they will be certified at entry-level positions for apprenticeship jobs on a construction site. At that point in time, we're going to pick the top 25% of those 20 and enter them, providing they continue to be interested and desire, into an extended program that we're working with the county school department who actually conducts the program. That's about a 2-year, 4-night-a-week journeyman type of program in HVAC, electrical, carpentry, and other skilled crafts. This is a long, extended duration. This is somebody that this is made for people who are dedicated in a field of interest that they want to be a carpenter, they want to be an electrician. It's conducted in such a way where they're going to be dedicated full time to that. The current program that we have, the initial program, allows them to work during the day and go to school at night. Once they hit that point where they decide to go on and they're in that top 25%, they will go through the extended program. The last thing I have to say about that is we have our second wave of 20 students that are going to start when the first wave is about midway through their term, which is we have that scheduled for 5/1. We're currently interviewing candidates to select the next 20. The next 20 will start on 5/1. I intend to start a third class before the end of the third quarter of this year, and a fourth class should start before the end of the fourth quarter of this year. So effectively 80 students will be in some form of occupational training by the end of this year. And of course, all of the completions of these courses, the students that are named, will all be in our follow-up reports. That's about all I have to speak about tonight. Again, we will have our quarterly report that'll go into greater detail. That'll be distributed April 15th. The first report was distributed, and I'll take any questions.
Okay. Vice Mayor, this is your item. You requested that the item to be put on the agenda.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I did meet with Mr. Tillman and the city manager. I had a chance to meet with the Millennium partners as well. However, I had those people in the different meetings, and it's good to know that all of the informations are the same. I know you answered to a lot of the questions that I have, and I ask you to present it because that I have a lot of my constituent and other colleagues that actually asking about Biscayne Landing. Once we sign the contract, it become you guys just vanish. But to us, we know that you guys are working very hard. But but truly, we never heard in the record what you guys have been doing. It's good to know that you guys have been going forward. As you promised. One other thing that we talked during our meetings that did not mention is the Oaks. I know that this is a great subject for the people that are actually living in the buildings right now. I just want you to let us know. I know one of the issues that I think that we discussed, I remember that the Alita Partners or the Swedler Group was responsible to actually do the amenities, but apparently that was not so. Right now, I understand that the city or throughout the contract, we did provide them with 3 or 4 acres of land. So my question to you guys, again on the record, who's responsible to build the amenities for the Oaks Apartments?
I think Mr. Hellinger or somebody from the Oaks would have to respond to that. Right now, we're not aware of a responsibility on our part. When we first started negotiating this lease with the city, we did have a vested interest in those amenities in that we actually had a contract to buy the outstanding 160 units that iStar possessed at that time. And we had, I don't remember the exact amount, but I believe it was about $750,000 as a deposit with iStar to secure that contract. That contract had a deadline of March 31st, where that money goes hard, as is said in the industry. In other words, it's non-refundable. And we felt pretty comfortable with that about midway through February in the lease negotiations process. However, when we came to the end of February and saw the lease negotiations kind of stall, then we had to make a decision. Do we let that money go hard with the expectation that it's quite possible we would not be able to reach a lease agreement with the city on the property? Or do we withdraw it? And then when the lease negotiations are finalized, if they were finalized, then re-up or recontract to buy those same 160 units. And the latter of the two was the decision made by the partners in this group. Consequently, the lease was finalized on May 23rd, I believe. We went back to iStar immediately, wanted to recontract. The price changed significantly to the point where it was no longer a venture that we cared to be involved with. In fact, it was structured in such a way that we could not see a profit on that for at least 3 years, if you're willing to take a risk of the economy continuing upward. So the decision was not to re-up it. In fact, iStar did admit to us that they would prefer that they kept those units for themselves and gamble on the economy improving, which seems to have been the right move. I do know that the Oaks receiver is working with some design consultants right now to in fact design those amenities. I do know that there's been some provisions made to provide funding for that have been outside of our purview. Okay. But I've been told that they have been, and I would think that question might better be posed to either to iStar or to the receiver or to the association themselves.
Actually, I am fine with it as long as somebody's taking care of that issue. I just was under the impression that you guys were doing it, but once you say that no, it's somebody else, but apparently somebody's doing it, because I have not personally heard from the Oaks if there's any problem, and I don't think, I know the councilman, that's your district, right? So I'm sure if there was a problem, Scott probably bring it up. So, Mr. Mayor, thank you so much. I'm done. Thank you for coming up and actually shared with us what's going on with Biscayne Landing.
Happy to do it.
Thanks.
Anyone else from the council has questions?
Yes.
Yes, I have a question.
Just one question. I feel like a trial attorney here. Answer true or false to this, sir.
False.
Were you not, on an occasion, more than one time or more, approached by Mr. Celestine, who advised you that you were filling those lakes with material that was substandard, that was not appropriate, that was not part of your contract? And he approached you and said, you have inferior material.
No.
You never approached by him?
I've been approached by him hundreds of times, but telling me that I'm filling the lakes with inferior material, no, we haven't. Up until about 4 days ago, we hadn't filled the lakes, and since that time, he has not approached me and told me that the material.
Well, whatever you were filling, if it was not the lakes, it was the material that we're using, bringing onto the property in trucks.
Now that, he did approach me and tell me that he felt that it was inferior material because he did not think there was enough testing done. However, since then, I provided him with all of the testing that he thought was not done, in fact, had been done, and the results of that testing proved that it was approved by the county for Lakeville, and further testing is ongoing to see if we can't use it for final cover. So, Mr. Celestine, I'm sure if you asked him up here right now, would tell you, well, he just didn't have the results, and he wasn't comfortable with taking that material on the site for Lakeville. But we provided him with that information.
All right, thank you.
Yeah. Mr. Tillman,
yes, sir.
the 20 people that you just hired to take the 10 hours OSHA course, and you said the 25% of that 20 you will send them to the trade school?
At the completion of the other 7 or 8 modules, yes, sir. And my assumption is all 20 are going to complete because it's a relatively short period of time. And it's also, the classes are conducted during a time of day that they can keep a daytime job and attend the classes. If that number drops, then we'll definitely maintain at least 25% of the remaining people, but, you know, we're going to be flexible to the point where we're going to try and get those same 5 people into the next
Okay, my
level.
question is that, and that 25% of these people is the money that the $2.5 million you guys set aside for the trade school, that's in that money, that's where you send them to school. I want to know who manage that money and who manage that program. You guys manage it and you hire the people, you send them to school?
It's a team effort. We're ultimately responsible because we're the tenant that is named in the lease, but we have a local preference program that has advisors and consultants on site that provide manpower as well as expertise as to how to select these people. And we also have a consulting company on board, OIC, which was the company that I mentioned, that provides the training. In addition to that, we're working in cooperation with South Florida Workforce to not only identify the certification programs of these trainings, but to also to identify other sources of jobs for these people, to confirm that once these people are employed after being trained, that they're allowed to move further through the programs. And I think the only other one that I left out is we're working arm in hand with the Dade County School Program to take advantage through Turner Tech of some of the programs that they offer to also provide further training. So it's not just one person in charge of this, it's a whole group of people.
Okay. Mr. Manager, did we have in the contract that we going to in charge of that program, or the Swedlow Group is going to in charge of that program?
Through the Mayor, Councilman, it is a partnership that we would work with the developer. We all have been taking a collective effort to put the training program together. What we're trying to do now is synchronize our thoughts with the developer's thoughts. They are synchronizing training with possible jobs that will synchronize with the progress of the site. Whereas in our latest meeting, we want to identify individuals that are prepared to go, who don't have to worry about a job, so that it would dispel the alarm that the developer has in trying to strategically have it where people can work and go to school at night. We are putting together a training fair on March the 30th to identify individuals that will then register with Alida Partners at the local preference site who are interested in going from point A to point Z to get the apprenticeships. And that instead of going to college, they will go through this program.
I understand that part, but my question is really, who's in charge of?
It's a collective effort.
It's a collective?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Tillman. Just a couple brief things. Make sure with the training program, there's kind of budget that is laid out. Don't wait till 2019 to start spending the money. I think it should be, as much I would like to see a lot of it being spent, 2013, 2014, early on to get these people trained and get back into the job market. So give them out just some kind of planned schedule on exactly what's happening with that. The second thing is, I know the landscaping contract was awarded to Country Bill, which has a lot of North Miami resident, and I think the security contract was awarded to
50 states.
50 states, yes,
50
sir.
state. So, but what I really want to see is that, give some advance notice, when this contract are coming out, so people that don't have the capacity to do so could start partner up with other companies or start preparing to make sure that they can actually do the job. So some kind of advance notice rather than, at the last minute, then it goes out there. And I think that's very important for people to get prepared for that. I mean, I can tell you that, for example, like in Miami-Dade County, we have the system called CJA, and sometimes, when the big cases are coming out, a small little lawyer like me cannot do it. So I quickly go out there and get a big shot lawyer and partner up with him to do those kind of cases. So I would like to see some of that going on so we could help, the local folks and people that doesn't really have that going on. And also, lastly, some kind of construction schedule. And I know you're working on that, so we know exactly where we at. Initially when you presented your plan to the Planning Commission, it looked one way, but it has changed since then. So just work on those issues for us, because I think it's important for the community to really be engaged and be involved with what's happening.
I'll do that. Thank you all for your attention tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Tillman.
Okay, next one is the consent agenda. Okay.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
I'd like to move items, sorry. Items H, K, and L off of the consent agenda and onto the regular agenda.
Okay, is that a motion that you're making?
Okay, that's a motion.
A motion for item H, K, and L to be moved from the consent agenda.
Let me ask a question.